welcome to another episode of Here Be Dragons. Yes, the real Gobshite, here we go. You got some behind the scenes here. Quickly before we dive into the game, we'll have the players talk about our sponsors and what's going on with Here Be Dragons.
Awesome. Yeah, we've got a sponsorship with Critical Treasures, who makes really awesome, nerdy paraphernalia. Check out her Etsy shop.
You also want to check out some Blacksmith Craft dice. They're beautiful metal dice, really well balanced, and they roll just what you need.
And finally, some coffee from Caffeinated Kobold.
By the way, it's fueling us today. We also want to make sure that you know about our Instagram giveaway. You got to go to our Instagram, check it out, enter away, because we've got something from each of those sponsors in that giveaway just in time for the holiday season.
You have until next Saturday to enter that, so check it out this week.
And check out below for any more information about us, how to get to the Discord, how you can be donating to affect the show. Different ways. You can add a challenger. You can get a draw from the Mild Magic Box. You can give a reroll. You can also give someone a natural 20 if you become the hype boss. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Which is really close. It's really close.
So. And with, I think we did it in record time. Is that it? I think we did everything. Can we play now?
I challenged the players to get through that as quickly as we could so we can get right to D&D, and I think we did.
That's
Stopwatch says you're actually about half a second long next time. But we are now back at this. If you listen to the last episode or watch the last episode, you're kind of stuck right in the middle of battle. Midday, the party had moved into this torn up field where the tower they'd been searching for could be seen. Pockmarks had scattered this field of shattered rubble and bits and pieces that have launched off of the tower, which, spoiler, they got hit with one of those at the very end of the last episode. So, beaten and bruised, the new companion that they had just found died, helping save the group and save the town that was going to be ravaged by the Banshees. So, bleeding and coming back to, our party is found in this desolate place with the tower looming in the distance, about 800 feet off. Tall and crackling with energy. It looks like a big metallic shard with some green and blue and purple reflections of light that almost don't make sense. It's an otherworldly sight to our party.
Could I do a Arcana check on this thing really quick while people are pulling themselves up?
Yeah, you may.
I'm gonna look over at Thadric and be like, how are you doing?
I'm almost just a dude. But I got this new dog, I guess.
And the one hellhound that remains walks up next to Thadric and looks up at him and looks across the group, eyes the young pup that accompanies Valari, and puts his head down and takes a huff as he knows now he's with this group and his former group is gone.
I got a 14 on that Arcana check.
On that Arcana check, what you can understand of this is it seems to almost be an interplanar traveling device. The metallic energies that you see rippling across seem to contain power, and every time that you see a little ripple, you almost see like the bits and pieces of the tower open and close. And to your understanding, you believe there's some forces holding this structure together. But that's all you can get from your knowledge of the arcane.
So I'm still talking to Thadric, I guess. I'm like, so what is it that you need to be more than almost just a dude?
Like, maybe an 8-hour nap.
That sounds really nice.
I can still swing this hammer, but I mean, if anyone gets hurt, I don't know what I can do really.
We did just receive a number of potions that could keep us going at least until we get a bit further. I'll really quick just ask DM, Jared, about what time of the day is it?
It's about midday, so your stomachs are probably growling for lunch at this point.
What if we took a short rest, hid ourselves somewhere here among the rocks, making it seem as if we had been destroyed in that last attack, and then tried to carry on our way, even just to get a little bit further to the tower? I mean, I think the quicker we can rid this evil from the land, the better.
No, I agree completely. But I'm just letting you know, if you die,
Just to
that
do.
may be it, man. Normally, I got an option. Right now,
I hear you. I myself don't have every ability left to me.
Well, if we set a watch, we could get a longer rest before facing the armies of hell. I would rather be, more than halfway.
But would you rather face the armies of hell in the dark or in the day?
It's all the same
Because how close are we to the tower? I guess that's another question.
It seems to be about 600 to 800 feet out. So you're not super far. Only a couple blocks if you're looking at like a city distance. So it is looming.
So I don't see necessarily anywhere between here and there that we would stop at. But maybe if we can find somewhere to set up Linus, at least Ari can make herself some food with her frying pan or whatever. The goblins seem to usually have something.
We've got rations in our pack. We could hide among these rocks. I think are going to be our best bet.
I will say this: if we take a long rest now, I think it could be in our advantage. Perhaps they would not expect an attack at night.
I mean,
I have a lot of things that work well in the dark. If we take a long rest, I will be able to take more than 2 hits in a fight.
Ari used the term halfway. I'm like 80% just a dude right now.
I'm pretty close myself, so I could use some
I'm doing fine. I could go another. I'm just saying. I haven't really. Taken
There's a book on the ground. Read it.
Look, to let you all know, I'm at full health and I still got half my spell slots.
Oh, that's not what your sheet looks like.
Some of
As
us
you're
got
all-
involved in the
Oh, I saw a 5. Okay, never mind.
As you're all discussing what the next steps could be, the Hellhound stands up tall and puts his nose up in the air and points somewhat off to the left of the tower, and looks just a bit and ends up like climbing up on a rock near you all and lets out a low growl and looks to the group. And from what you can see, there seems to be a battle of magic happening a bit around the side of the tower. So not like just off to the left, but kind of back behind to the left. You end up hearing a low rumble and see a plume of smoke and fire hit, as Garth would recognize that as fireball would have scorched in an area near the tower. And there's some echoes of clangs and screams from a distance, enough to know that it's more than 5, 6, 7, 8. It sounds like 15, 20 on either side doing battle. The Hellhound looks a bit nervous and begins to come down next to the group and pace around, wondering what the next steps are.
It seems like there's almost a war brewing over there. Again, I could go and enter and probably be fine for at least a little bit, but if you all are beat up, then I do want to make sure you all are fine. Do we need to make our way
Quick
perhaps?
nap. No, I mean, I agree. It's of utmost importance. But maybe we take, 10 minutes.
Let's take an hour. We could still set up Linus. I'm happy to wait out front and make sure everything is all right. The rest of you could get some rest, heal up a bit,
Yep.
recharge, at least a skosh, if you will. And then we could at least investigate what became of that battle.
Time out. Short rest.
Mhm.
I don't think I get anything back though, right?
Most players will be able to roll their hit dice, or up to their maximum amount of hit dice if you wish,
Where would I
to
find-
regain. It'll be top center of your sheet.
You
right
might
below
also
your-
get sorcerer points
Yeah,
back.
I think you
Oh.
can get.
I thought mine were long rest.
For sorcerer, I believe you get sorcerer points back to an extent. So wizards, however, I think get a little bit more back. Correct? There's certain classes have different things that happen on short rests.
No, mine are per
Yes.
long rest.
Yours are per long rest. Okay, so you'd only get health back.
Yes, I would be able to get a couple of spell slots back. I could recover a number of spell slots. 4 levels worth.
Sorry, I just rolled 2 hit dice, and they were both full.
So I guess that's our plan. Is we're gonna do that.
Yeah, we're resting. We said we're resting.
I mean,
I'm
if,
100% resting. I'm not.
if you do a short rest or a long rest, it doesn't matter, because if you do a long rest, you regain all of your hit points there. So up to you guys. If you want to waste Lauren's perfect rolls and just do a long rest, go for it.
I mean, I didn't, but now.
But now we do.
Yeah, I think we should take a short rest and get what we can, just in case.
So I
Yes.
roll all my hit dice?
You can roll, I believe, up to all of
7.
your hit
So
dice.
3.
Yes.
Yes, but you can only get half of them back after a long rest.
Yes. So,
At least according to the rules I've played before.
yep, that is the rules. So you get that much health back.
Okay. Well, I effectively doubled my health.
Perfect. So as you're taking this short rest, how does it play out? Do you just stand here in this clearing? Do you try to find a spot to tuck in? Do you start a fire? Do you sing songs of Kumbaya and hope that the baddies don't come after you?
I think Thadric would just find like either a gap in like this crag or just one of the big pieces of whatever to kind of crouch down and think about things.
Think about things to come up with your next thought.
It's a very...
Chat is saying that because of this short rest, Thadric's lockpicks are now well rested, so they'll be good to go. It looks like one of the portals had closed, and Garth and Ari got sucked into the ether on their rest.
They just stepped into Linus for a minute.
I
Scandalous.
think. Can we take a moment
Hmm.
as a group
Yeah.
to acknowledge the ridiculousness of Nathan's face there?
Yeah, on stream it's paused. He's enjoying his caffeine. Caffeinated kobold is a wonderful, wonderful thing to enjoy. Chat, how are we doing today? Because this was a crucial moment for our
But
players.
also, like, mad props to Nathan for drinking coffee this late in the day, because if I drink coffee after 3, I'm up all night, and it makes for a miserable next day.
That
I could-
happens.
I'm okay with caffeine anytime, but I know some people get like inversely affected by it.
That was a great rest.
Yeah, you guys like stepped off into Linus or something for a few minutes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, as I was asking, anything special you want to do on your short rest? Do you find a spot to sit? Do you hide away? Do you sing Kumbaya and hope the spawn from the other planes don't come and destroy you?
I think Garth's plan was just find a couple of rocks that Linus would fit under if people wanted to climb into Linus, and then Garth could sit guard outside. He'd be resting, but he would, be the one whose eyes are on a swivel type thing.
Yeah, I mean, as Garth would look around, within a 30-foot radius, there's a small set of rocks that kind of have toppled up against one another, and there's a cove that would fit nicely to toss Linus out and make sure it fits. Seeing that Linus is just really a pup tent on the outside, it would be a great spot to make a little hovel, and there's even a few large rocks there if you need to tuck it away.
Yes, I think maybe that's the best route. Is everyone all right with that?
I mean, I'm already like asleep up against just a rock.
Yeah.
Cedric and his
That's
training.
just a simple man.
I would grab my the oil for my sword that I got a couple towns back and would oil my long sword and then resheath it and close my eyes for a few winks.
All right. Anything else before we discuss what happens as Garth is on watch?
I think perhaps really quick we should just divvy up, make sure each one of us has one of these potions. You know, I'll take one, Valari take one, Ari take one, maybe Ari take two. You get hit a lot.
Yeah.
But we've got 6 of them, and Thadric, if you want to hold on to the rest, well, he's asleep. We'll tell him later. And then if one of you needs, there is a potion of invisibility. I myself have the spell,
I have
but
it.
it's
I
not
don't need
prepared,
it.
so I mean, it's each their own.
I don't need it.
Do you have one in your circlet?
Nope. Did not prepare to be invisible today.
I can be in.
Should I have? Yes. But hindsight.
I'm glad that I'm asleep for this, because those are bad jokes.
Bad jokes. Now, as the bad jokes are being said and the ladies retreat into the pillow fort of Linus, it's a simple setup here. A couple small cots, a very dim lit room. On each of the cots, there's a pillow and there's a small chocolate chip cookie sitting on the pillow for each of you. There's a goblin sitting off to the side who's got a few rags that look like they're fairly dirty, used to polish up weaponry or boots. There's another goblin who has some pillow armor on, and he's pacing back and forth near the door. And he salutes the 2 women as they walk in, and pretends to be on guard as best as these pillow goblins can be on guard. They know that even they too are in a war zone. Garth, on the outside, you are sitting there. The Hellhound sitting next to you lays guard as the 2 women and the pup had gone inside. It only seemed fitting that he joins protecting the unit here. So he sits next to you and paces out towards Thadric and looks around a bit. And about 20 or 30 minutes into this rest, the Hellhound lets out a low growl and runs over and hunkers down next to you as if to hide in the dirt. And a shambling corpse kind of hobbles past. You hear some moans of this creature's once vocalized language, now destroyed as it is many years dead. Skin hanging off the bones and a little bit of cloth hanging off of the bones. It's barely a form of what once was a humanoid, but it stumbles past. And fortunately, Thadric had been laying up against a rock that the zombie had walked past the other side of, and didn't hear his snoring. It seems that danger is close. And as the dog had crouched down and got into the dirt and was trying to hide away, it stands up briefly after danger has passed and quickly and carefully hustles over towards Thadric and lays down next to him and keeps an eye as he's sleeping.
Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, I think Garth kind of just has, as much as he's sitting there, he's like ready to cast Firebolt at any second, like just pew!
His finger guns are ready, just at the sides.
Mm-hmm.
I did forget that those banshees might come back at some point.
No, we got
We
them.
got rid
We
of
got-
them.
But we got the wisps too.
No, the
No.
wisps left.
There was one
We got
one
one.
wisp that made it away. Yep.
The whole of that combat was the banshees in my heart.
Yeah.
Mm.
About an hour passes. More sound had been heard in all directions. Still not super close, but close enough that it is a bit scary to hear. There's creatures nearby.
Yes. I think Garth, after the hour seems to have been up, he'd just pop his head in and just say to the pillow goblin, "Wake them, please." And then he's gonna go and kind of like, he's gonna pull up the cloak that he recovered, because I think he has two cloaks. He's got one that was Navar's, and one was that was like part of the fancy outfits.
Yep.
So you're gonna pull up the cloak over his head and kind of like sneak across to Thadric and just kind of like gently, "Thadric, you must be moving."
Okay, man. Whoa. You gotta be more gentle. We're in a combat zone. I gotta hit you with this mace.
You wanted me to be more gentle than than the light, "Hey, Thadric."
Yeah, that's pretty aggressive.
Out of curiosity, how do you think someone who was aggressive towards you, like that's how you think they would wake you up? Not with just a sword at you?
Well, why would they cut a sleeping dude?
Just you're not out of the tent yet.
I mean, I'm up. Let's go.
All right.
Where's the other one?
As the pillow goblin completes a task that Garth had set to it, it walks over to Ari and pats her on the shoulder. The other pillow goblin starts patting Valari on the shoulder.
I'm like jumping up with my dagger.
With your dagger, as you jump up, the pillow goblin that tapped you on the shoulder is holding a sleeping Astro under one arm and backs up and holds him close. Astro takes up most of his body, and he's just trying to hold the sleeping pup. And then he sets the sleeping pup down and pats on his little head too. And Astro stands up and yawns and looks back at the two ladies as they wake.
If I still had that handy little collar that belonged to Astro, then I could let him continue to sleep, but
Gone for good.
poor puppy.
I hope you're not trying to blame me for that. That thing wore off on its own, okay? It was not my fault. So, yeah, I guess are we up? We're taking,
Yep, I'll grab my
Linus
stuff.
down?
Yep.
Come
Take
on,
out-
Billiam. We'll
check it
look
out.
around. And I take the hellhound
Billiam?
and just kind of search the area while the pillow fort goes away.
Did you name the hellhound Billiam?
Yeah.
The hellhound takes to that and kind of looks up at you and wags his tail and follows along. What is the direction? What is the plan here, players?
Well, we have a key.
Is that battle still going on?
It seemed to have quieted down, but there are sounds in various directions, mostly towards the tower, but off in all sides, seemingly approaching the tower, of small skirmishes, potentially other parties coming in to attack or loot or do something with the tower, similar to yourselves.
I wouldn't hate reinforcements. We could go to where we heard some of the battles and see if we can.
Well, as long as the side we're on won.
Right. That's why I said sneak.
Oh, well, yes, of course, that would be beneficial. Yes.
means
I mean, we.
daylight.
I don't know where the door is to this
Wait.
place, anyway.
But we have the key.
Yes.
They
But
don't
we have a key. They don't have a key. That's true. Anyone on the side of anti tower would be very happy to see us.
All I know is that Tabaxi, may he rest in peace, saved our hides. So, strength in numbers.
Yes. Probably for the best. So let's I mean, we could go towards the battle, see who is left, see who came out on top, as it were, and proceed from there.
But like sneaking, right?
But yes, obviously.
For sure.
To the best of our abilities.
I'm gonna sneak.
All right. Whoever wishes to sneak, I will need you to roll on that sneaking. Your stealth.
My disadvantage roll is a 20.
I have a 21.
Nice.
21.
12.
12.
18.
18. And then I will
Of course,
roll for
it's
the two
already without
dogs.
the stealth.
Fortunately enough, we have a 17 and a 20 for the dogs in the party. As you move through the rocks carefully towards the tower, there seems to have been remnants of a battle that you passed through. A few scorch marks and pock marks, a corpse that looks like it was just blasted with fire in its place. That basically there's the soles of boots and slumped carcass that you can't even make out what it was beforehand. There seems to also be a few glowing ectoplasmic marks that seem to either be a spell that was cast or a creature that was from another realm dying in its last throes. As you get closer, you make your way up to about the 300 foot movement that you've gotten through and stealthed past. And just as you see up ahead, there seems to be a little bit of a swarm of a battle still raging about 120, 130 feet up and around, like I said, the side of the tower. You can't quite tell what is going on, but it seems to be about 6 or 7 on each side, so a little bit smaller. Ari ends up kicking a sword that was kind of under the dirt and she didn't see, and it clangs up against a rock. And as you do that, some motion off to your left. A humanoid figure kind of stands up and hustles as to almost get around behind you, but stays hidden behind the rocks as well as they can.
Who's there?
No answer.
Did I see like where they went?
Kind of. Each of you gets slightly different glimpses. Based on the fact that you're not all lumped together, you've spaced out a little bit in order to be stealthy enough to make your own footing. Each of you gets a sense that they're either going off to your left or trying to sneak around, but you don't have a good heading on where they're at.
Do you know this dog that we have with us? Because it's our friend.
Again, no answer. A couple sounds of pieces of rock kind of sliding up against each other as if something is falling or knocked over or slid.
I want to go off to the left and sneak around.
Right. I need you to roll another stealth.
That is a 16.
16. You make your way off to the side, and just as you kind of kick a stone that ricochets off of a rock nearby, you catch a glimpse of this figure, and it seems to be a human male, very bloodied and battered, wearing remnants of either a guard's uniform or a military vestment, but it's scorched and sliced, and you see that he's holding an arm at the elbow, but you've alerted him enough that he goes diving behind a rock, and you hear him kind of scuttling to get away from you. And as you hear that, you hear, "No, no, no!" And he seems to be trying to get away as if you may be the enemy. Send the tiefling, right?
We're friends. Ignore the horns. We're here to take the tower. Can we help you?
I sure hope he's on our team, because if you told him we're here to take the tower, we're gonna get attacked.
He's the
By a
person.
dying dude.
They've all been hell people. No offense, Valari.
As you all start making your way over to what Valari had just seen, a man stands up, and where he's holding the arm at the elbow, you notice that there is no arm past the elbow, and he's got a very rough tourniquet just above the elbow, and it seems that he had lost an appendage earlier that day. He is very, very snow white in color, partly maybe due to his skin tone, but a lot due to the blood loss and adrenaline that he's been facing. He looks across the group. You can't take the tower. There's too many of them. I tried. My battalion of 17 of us. Gone. I remain. And he, as he's speaking these words to you, he's backing up as if to just get out of the area and kind of keeps on a little bit of a movement. Almost like he doesn't even want to stop to talk to you, but just his warning of what's ahead.
Get to safety. Is there anything we should know before going in?
I don't know what lies within. We haven't been able to get there yet. And he starts backing away and stops briefly and turns. But beware of the leader of the dead. There's a crypt nearby that seems to be outpouring many, many dead.
Thank you.
At that moment, he just breaks into as much of a run that he can with a hobble and a limp, and goes kind of back behind where you guys had traveled through, almost as if he had come from the same direction you had.
Well, that's not very encouraging.
No. Perhaps we
You
should
like-
go and...
I might need to be more than a dude to deal with the crypt.
Yeah.
Spewing forth the zombies.
All we gotta do is close the crypt. We don't have to kill all the zombies.
No, we have to kill all the zombies. That
I
goes
don't-
against what you said earlier. Protecting people, killing zombies, one and the same.
I don't know about this. What are 4 of us gonna do against a crypt?
I mean, depends on how powerful
We've
the
almost died
zombies are.
like twice.
Again, I don't think I was even really hit in that last round. I'm pretty good.
Garth?
I understand that as a group whole, we're not doing very well. I'm just saying maybe I can carry a little more of the weight.
Party, I think I've heard the new tank has spoken.
Halfling luck, baby.
Wait. So the crypt is in the tower?
You didn't get any direction as to where it was. The man had just said near the tower.
Let's go back, let's actually rest, and then we can come back.
Well, what if taking out the tower takes out the crypt? It's cyclical.
I mean, I hear you, man. I mean, look, if you all need a longer rest, I'm fine with it. But we're gonna really have to hunker down, and we're gonna need someone on watch at every single opportunity. Because even in my short 1 hour, we did have a zombie walk by. Didn't tell you that. Didn't want to worry you because really he didn't bother me. So kind of didn't think it was necessary. But if we are going to rest out here, then we need to be super careful about it. All right?
What about those little pillow guys? They could do anything they want.
You know what? In a pillow world, yes. I take them hands down. outside of the pillow world? I just don't know, because I don't know if you noticed, they're pillows.
Okay, but hear me out. What if the outside
mhm.
world went into the pillow world?
We've kind of had we had an adventure like that once. The whole time we were trapped in the pillow world. It was very interesting. I just don't. I mean,
I'm just spitballing plans.
oh yeah, I get you, man. We gotta figure it out sooner rather than later. So Ari, if you would feel better getting a bit of a rest before we go in there.
If I'm gonna die in this battle, I would like to have our friend be able to bring me back. That's all I'm saying.
I get you.
I've died too many times for me to feel comfortable with this.
And that is fine. If that is how you're feeling, then
That's
we
how
will
I'm
rest.
feeling.
Okay, right. I'm just trying.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to. Hey, everyone, let's take a rest. Maybe let's just take 8 hours and hope we survive it.
We're gonna have to backtrack a bit.
Are we going like the whole way back to that town? That's like 3 days away, or where are we going?
No. I think if we can get back to at least rock cover and hide and
Yeah.
put up watch, that will be fine.
The
Yes.
rocks in this area are a bit smaller and more broken up. As you get further away from the tower, there's larger pieces, much like the little cave almost that you'd set Linus up in. So here is not the best spot.
Yeah, no, we'll have to go back. Let's go back to where we were. We haven't
Yes.
gone that far. Okay.
All right. Do you want to walk? Do you want to stealth? Do you want to frolic?
I mean, we should probably stealth it, right?
We'll stealth it.
Yeah.
One does not simply walk through.
Oh no!
I need stealth rolls, please.
Stupid disadvantage.
14.
Soft 20.
8.
Natural 1 to a modified 9.
Okay.
Ari pulls out coconuts and starts smacking them together.
Basically, at this point, you all turn around and somehow the laces on Thad's boots are tied together, and he ends up tripping on his face, and Ari turns and clanks her weaponry up against a rock as she hears Thad fall. Unfortunately, the Hellhound gets a little bit scared from this and lets out a yelp and turns and looks around. A lot of a mess has happened. After the dust settles briefly there for a moment, and you breathe and hope that nothing had hurt you, you hear a couple shuffles, one coming off from your left and one coming off from your right, and almost seems like you hear some noise up ahead to where you were traveling to your little safe haven cave. So at this time, players, I need rolls for initiative.
Huh.
I'll get it. Yeah, go for Astro.
Hey Nathan, I'm gonna need you to send me your dice jail.
Uh-oh.
Hey, at least it's just initiative and not like
Here, just put it
a
in.
save
yeah,
or
just put it in there.
something.
You jump.
There you go.
Done. Modern technology, sending dice through the internet, just like that.
Wonka vision, baby.
Wonka vision.
Take that, Amazon drones.
Okay, now that we're ready, let's go from the top. Ari, what is your initiative?
18.
18. Garth,
16.
16. Cedric,
3.
yeah, put those in jail. Valari,
A 12?
and for Astro,
19.
yeah, Astro leading charge.
What did Hellhound? What did Billiam get?
Billiam.
Billiam, he gets a +1 to his initiative. I will roll that. 12.
Y'all forgot about Billiam.
He's an esquire, you know.
Alrighty. Wow. Billiam and Astro as your buddies here as we start the battle. At the top of the turn order, we have Astro. And Astro hears the shuffling as well and lets out a growl and looks around. He doesn't know what to do as far as charging, but he does turn to the left and let out a bark as if to warn that something is quite close on the left side. On your left, you see a couple stones that stand about 3 to 5 foot tall in a small jagged line, as if they had been launched in a pattern almost. On your right, you see a few stones stuck up in various directions, only standing about 3 foot tall. And forward, you almost have a small corridor that you had stuck through of heavy patches of stone with gaps between that you had passed through earlier. Nothing is very visible at the moment, but Astro does point to the left for you all. Ari, it is your turn.
Yeah. I want to use my movement to go towards the left.
Yep.
We've been ready, so I have my shield and sword, and I'm gonna prepare an attack with my sword for any foe I see come into my sight.
All right. Are you moving into the rocks or just moving off to guard on the left?
Like off to guard, like no, I don't know what's there, so I'm not gonna run in blind.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run like up to the rocks, ready to attack any enemy that comes around the rock into my vision.
All right.
It's still daylight, yeah?
Yes, it's daylight. There's a bit of light cloud cover. Smoke and dust kind of fill the air and blow through a bit, so vision isn't amazing at super distances, and it's a very dry, stale air. But for your purposes, Volari, it isn't dim or dark.
No, I know. I was just confirming.
Garth, it is your turn.
I think Garth is just going to say, everyone, if you need to make a run for it, go. I'll be able to catch up very quickly with a spell. I can hold them back. And he's going to prepare Firebolt for the similar situation. Having seen zombies, he's specifically looking for a zombie to pop out. And I'd love to maneuver my way into a place where I can get kind of either that right or left if one of them pops out.
Yeah, you can get either. It's up to you which direction you want, as Ari has kind of pushed off to the left side right
I
now.
can aim right. I'll aim right.
Okay. So Garth has moved a little bit to the right and is pointing right. And Ari and Astro are looking off to the left. Now, off to the left side, a moan growl sound comes as a hand kind of comes up on top of one of the rocks and pulls himself up. This zombie looks fairly freshly dead. Looks to be a young soldier wearing similar garb as the man who had met you earlier. This guy has a gash across the neck into the center of his chest. In one hand, he's holding a dagger. In the other hand, a couple of his fingers are almost down to the bone. The flesh is missing. And he's got like a burn mark across his face. And he stands up and kind of starts stumbling into the area in front of Ari, and does end up getting right in front to swing an attack at Ari. So we will roll the swing to attack, and then we'll roll your response to that.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Do you think this is a foe, though?
I'm fairly sure.
Okay.
He does have a nice chiseled jawline. His hair is swept back, what remains of it. And he does have a little bit of a golden chain that is hanging and sliced. I don't know, Ari, you've had a propensity to these guards in the past. I didn't know if... All right, he does swing at you, and his swing is only an 11 to hit, so I believe that is just a complete miss. So you can take your reaction here.
Okay.
Wreck him.
That'll be 17.
That does hit.
Okay.
Nice.
And
Got
then
that D8.
that'll be 8 points of damage.
Is that with your +1 magic?
Yeah.
Cool.
8 points of damage.
Yep.
You
And
s-
then
Yep.
can I take my second?
Go for it.
That'll be
16.
16.
That hits.
That's more like it. Okay. Oh no, never mind. I thought it was a 7. It's a 4. That'll be 11 points of damage for the second.
All right, you take 2 swings, and they solidly impact on this zombified guardsman, and you see a stagger stumble, and he stands up and cracks more than just his neck, like a bunch of bones in his body crackle, and his jaw drops a little bit as you've seemingly dislocated it.
Does he also snap and pop along with his crackle?
He does not. He does not
Okay.
snap, crackle, or pop, other than just a couple snaps there. But he does kind of look you in the eye with his empty gaze, and let out a little bit of a surprised growl of sorts. And at that point, Valari, you hear this going on to the left, and Astro's looking off to the left, but you've heard noises in other directions. What would you like to do?
I want to just shoot a firebolt off to the left.
At the zombie that you see engaging.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is a 26 on the dice.
Totally hits.
And then that is a 18 damage.
18 damage. So you blast this zombified guardsman, and he catches on fire and stumbles backwards and ends up kind of falling off to the side and smolders a little bit. As he does that, he lets out a moan and attempts to stand up, and then falls fully and collapses. You've got the kill. The Hellhound in the group starts looking around and turns off to the right side and lets out a bark, as he is pointing to something off on the right side this time, so behind a couple of our party members, but does not decide to charge in, and stays cautious in the center. Up ahead, straight on the path, there's a bit more shuffling, and it sounds almost as if a couple creatures are coming close, but no one can get eyes on them. Thadric, it is your turn. You've heard some shuffling coming close on the path ahead. One zombie is dead, and your new friend Billiam is looking off to the right side.
So basically, I want to kind of get between all of us, and then wait until any of these zombies or whatever they are. I'm just assuming they're zombies. Whatever they are, come in, and when they get within 30 feet, I'll do a turn undead
Okay.
to like a mass blast.
Okay.
So I'm basically gonna stand there with my holy symbol in the air,
Ready to
just
go.
charging up. Yeah.
All right. Off to the right, a zombie does clamber through some of the rocks.
We just got raided.
Well, we'll call that out quick here. We did get raided. Super Paul Games, thank you for the raid and the host. For those of you who are just joining, we are a D&D 5e group, and we are in the middle of a battle on a very dusty, dirty, pockmarked field of doom and destruction. And a zombie has just popped up on the right side, and it's clambering between the rocks. This one is wearing a different uniform. Seems to be a bit more heavy leather clad. A few small daggers across the hips, and what remains of a bandolier with a few throwing daggers and darts of various designs are attached, as if they've been collected over the years. It is not so much like a uniform one would see in a guardsman, but almost a underground assassin type garb that you may have encountered in the past. It clambers forward and kind of grumbles and roars and starts approaching the group, and it goes after the hellhound that is barking in its direction, and goes to swing. Cedric, is this where you want to invoke your reaction, or do you wish to continue to hold out?
Yeah, mostly because it's a new dog to us. I can't have it taking damage.
Okay.
I don't know if it affects it, but I also had a firebolt ready if that would go off before Thadric's move.
Because you're earlier in the turn order, yes, you could fire that off.
Okay. So I'll fire that, and if Thadric, then you would still.
Then I'll just save the day.
Yep. And we'll let the reactions go first, as it had to move into the clearing a bit, so you had time to see it before it actually got to the attacking point.
So it's only a 15.
Only a 15. But only a 15 does hit in this case.
Sweet beans.
Is that like the brown sugar beans?
Yeah. The good ones. Just so we all know, I'm rolling a nice burnished bronze blacksmith craft dice right now. They're a part of the great giveaway going on over on our Instagram. Go check it out.
Yeah. As he counts those numbers up, on Instagram there is a post. Follow our sponsors. In 1 week, we will draw a winner. Nice prize pack. Go check it.
So that will be a total of 10 fire damage on those 2d10.
Fire damage.
Oh, my...
All right. You get 10 fire damage. You see that some of the leather that has been torn away catches fire on the ends and sears the flesh that is still somewhat fresh, as this is another combatant that had died in the last maybe day or so. The zombie does still clamber forward to attack the dog. He does have a couple feet of movement still, as it was about 10 feet that it moved into the clearing where you guys could see. Again, I will offer, now it is Thadric's turn if you wish to use your reaction, or if you wish to let it carry.
Yeah, I said if I saw a thing, so...
Alright.
It'll go off.
It'll go off.
It does. It goes off. It blasts forth with radiant light. He gets a wisdom save of DC 15.
DC 15 wisdom save. Fortunately, at this point, because they're zombified, there's not a lot of wisdom in these things, and it gets a 13 total.
If it is under 1/2 CR, it is outright destroyed. Else it runs as fast as it can, using only the dash action for 1 minute.
This one is exactly half CR, so it starts running as fast as it can. It turns around and smashes into the rocks that it had climbed through. One throwing dart falls off of the bandolier, and a couple coins fall out of the small pouch on its side, and it stumbles through the dirt.
You sonicked it.
You sonicked it. Bling, 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 bling.
Pick
Coins
up the ring.
everywhere. Now, that has a radius if anything enters it, or does that...
It's like a one-time blast of 30 feet radius.
Nothing else seems to cause commotion, so you have at least a 30-foot radius around you that is clear of undead for the moment.
I'll share that. I'll be like, we've got a window of 30 feet at least.
Run! Astro, looks up at Ari, who is standing next to him, and looks back at Valari, who had fired the bolt at the zombie coming through, and lets out like a happy yelp, and turns to start running up the pathway, but stops, and all of his hair goes up on his back and starts to crackle blue, and he backs up nervous as whatever is coming at you from straight ahead, the pathway that you were intending to travel, has scared him a bit. He does not attack, but he does kind of start scooting up backwards, hair on end. Ari, it is your turn. You had just seen this zombie catch flame in front of you.
I mean, yeah. Is there a place, like, are there rocks on the side of the path where we were going to go through?
Yeah, there's a few rocks that are kind of off to either side if you wish to go up to them. I believe you're going to try and get cover, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can
I'm going to
do
go
that.
up, hide by one of the rocks, and again, prepare an attack for any foe who comes through.
Perfect.
Yep.
Garth, it is back to you.
Yeah, I think Garth's going to. Now, that one zombie that he just affected is running away from us, right? It's
Running
gone.
away, yep.
I'm going to let that one run. I'm going to turn, like, as I see it moving away, I'm going to focus energy on the dart that just fell off of it and turn in the direction that we need to go, waiting to see what comes through there.
Okay.
And then, again, kind of like when I see zombie, I'm going to launch that dart in that direction with a catapult.
Pew, pew, pew.
Are you sure you don't want to pull out any bread in your bag? Because that has been your most effective catapult weapon.
You know what? I gotta agree with you, but now we're kind of in a place where rations are very important, so I think I'll just use the dart
You could be
for now.
You could be dead in the morning. Who knows?
It's true. That's true. I'll just throw. Hey, I'll magically launch my magical staff at it.
Perfect. All right, so you've prepared for anything that comes through. Next in the turn order is the zombie that is dead. Now Valari.
I'm gonna just cast Firebolt down the path where Astro. Like, I'll run forward 30 feet and cast Firebolt.
Does Firebolt require a target?
It
It's
just...
an attack roll.
It doesn't say it does.
I feel like if she's firing blindly and the idea is I shoot this straight down, maybe she could roll with disadvantage on hitting. There's something further down that we can't see, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was just aiming straight down the middle of the path.
We'll allow that. We'll say disadvantage because you don't have a target. The reason I ask is because there's things like Fireball, where if you're like, I'm going to shoot at the floor in a certain direction, it affects an area, so...
Well, lucky for you, that was disadvantaged because I rolled a nat 20 and a soft 20. So.
Oh! Okay. Hello.
So.
Thank you, disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
It will hit something, yes.
And that's 11.
11.
It'll hit that rock that's there.
It'll hit something.
And good thing it wasn't a crit fail because there is an Ari in the pathway and you don't want to. As you fire that firebolt, you hear it kind of explode against something, and a bit deeper of a rumbly roar returns from that. It sounds a bit larger than the zombie you just encountered. I will need you to roll on your wild magic table as you are in battle and have cast a couple times now.
That's fair.
And it is probably not the calmest of places.
I got triple zeros, so that's 100.
Oh no!
That's 100.
That's 100! Unless you're Adam Brady, then it's 0.
Depending on the table.
Unless you're Adam Brady. Cool. Let's see here.
I think that's happened once before.
I think so. 100 on our magical table here.
You get a 1 last time?
You feel a bit rejuvenated as your sorceress powers are better now. All of your expended sorcery points come back.
Yeah.
So if you
Let's
have
just go
expended
take the tower,
sorcery,
buddy.
Yeah.
you
I
get
guess,
sorcery
we don't
points
need
back.
that nap. I don't.
I mean,
Literally, it's just Ari wants it because you're the cleric, and she always gets hurt and dies, and she just wants to make sure she can come back. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair.
That's exactly what I want.
Perfect. The Hellhound, having seen the could-be attacker run off, turns and stands over Astro as his guard and lets out a growl in the direction that the fire that Volare had just sent hit. And so it too is growling, ready to attack. It stands poised on its back legs as if it's ready to jump in and preparing its attack for enemies abound. Let's see here.
Something wicked this way comes.
Out of the dust in the pathway, a hulking zombie creature comes forward. It stands about 7 feet tall as it pulls itself upright.
Oh.
Its muscles are rippling and shoulders on fire. It too seems as if it was a combatant that was in an earlier battle. Seems to be a half orc, or was a half orc. Potentially barbarian based on the small amount of leather gear that it's wearing, and you do see what would have been a sheath for a large two-handed weapon hanging off its back. So fortunately it's not carrying that, but it does step forward and roar, and it comes up right next to where Ari's at. So before it does anything else, Ari, you're able to take your reaction.
Okay. Does a 24 hit?
For this one time and one time only, no. But yes, it does hit.
Okay, so for the first swing, that'll be 11 points of damage. And that was a leaner. Same thing. Second swing is also
24.
a 24.
Okay.
And
yep.
that will be for 14 points of damage.
So you get in a couple quick strikes as it starts making its way into the clearing. The Hellhound, Billiam, jumps forward and attempts to take a bite and does latch onto the leg and does a few points of damage as well. But this zombie seems to be moving a bit faster and reacts. Yes, Garth.
I also have the catapult ready.
You do have the catapult. Yes, go for it. Dex save. And with the dex save, we are at a 16.
Ooh! You made it, and there's no half damage. So Garth launches this spell and sees that the zombie is somehow quicker, and really quick taps a ring on his finger and doesn't have to expend the spell slot.
Okay.
Thanks to the Ring of Recall.
The Ring of Recall.
What do you do if you can't recall it?
Unfortunately, it does not bring the dagger back, however.
No.
The gold gleaming handle flies up and over Ari's shoulder, and she does catch a glimpse of a gemstone that was on it. So it was potentially of some value to you, whether or not you kept it. But this zombie does, as it moves quick.
I feel like if I had been able to keep it, I would have looked at it and it would have been this rusty, disgusting dagger. But because it's flying away, I feel like it just became a very valuable.
No. I had said that it was a nice golden gleaming dagger handle with some coin that had dropped. But I mean, sure, it was a rusty dagger that your magic restored it into its beautiful form, and it picked up some.
Or he's going delusional, and every dagger that he loses, he's like, that could have been it.
That
was it!
That was my blink.
I'm going to... Remind me after this battle, I'm walking 90 feet from the direction that it started.
Well, you didn't see it. I saw it.
I mean, I know where it went. I cast it in a 90-foot straight line.
But
We'll move on.
as there was this shuffle, the zombie had been hit a couple times and dodges a dagger that flies over its head. It decides to take both fists and slam square into Ari, as he is now aware of the presence there. That is a 23 to hit.
Hits.
It hits. Perfect.
This is why I need a nap.
That's why he needs a nap.
You
Sure.
you get two large fists slam into your chest, and you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage and 7 points of necrotic damage as the claws of this zombie do kind of cut into your arm.
Oh my.
And then it decides to swing again with its dual attack.
Oh,
You luck out as the second swing smashes up over your head into the rock, as it was only a 14 to hit.
Santa Clark.
We go down to Thadric, as the zombie you had turned is still running in the opposite direction.
The one that the orc guy, I guess.
Yep.
I'm going to. Oh, do I want to do that or that? I'm gonna do this.
Do that. Do that.
I'm
No,
gonna
do
step
that.
up behind it and draw my short sword and try and just drive up into its kidneys, into the zombie kidneys from behind.
Alright, as it's smashing into the rock above Ari, you go running up to stab into the zombified kidneys here.
That is an 18 on the die, plus some numbers.
Plus some numbers. It hits.
21 to hit.
It hits.
21, and that damage is going to be a 13.
13 points of damage. As you stab into this orc, you would expect blood to have come out, but the blade comes out merely sticky with a drying blood on it.
Ew.
Ew. Yeah. We go back to the top of the turn order here, and it is Astro. And Astro sees this going down, so he decides he's going to run in and kind of jump up off of Thadric's planted leg and get a bite into the side of this zombie here, and gets a hit. He latches into the side of the zombie and gets a nice bite and tears off a chunk of flesh that is over the rib cage. Ari, your turn.
Swing. Bada bada bada. Nat 20.
Dango!
First dice roll of the
so-
round is a nat 20.
Yeah.
Why do you get a
Oh.
nat 20 and I've gotten 2 1s? That's not fair.
The
I
jail is closer for her dice to fear it.
True. So that's gonna be a 17 points of damage
17 points of damage.
On one swing.
for the first swing.
And that's with your base and
Yeah,
Oh.
she did 8,
Yeah,
and then
a lower dice roll.
lower.
I was so close. 18 on the die for this next one, so that'll be 25 to hit. So that'll be another 11 points of damage.
All right, perfect.
And then I'm gonna call out, Brianna, cast web.
And as you yell that out, Brianna does come alive and cast
It's
Web.
my spider brooch.
Seeing that you had already used her recently to cast web, I believe it was not last session, but the session before, correct?
That would
That
have been a day before.
it was a day before, yeah. She shoots out web, but not as much as you'd expect. It seems her cooldowns are closer to about 2 days here. for full amount of web, but it does tie up one hand on this zombie, rendering it a little bit less useful to do a full double-handed slam at this point. The hand does get like stuck up against the chest of this zombie and gives you a little bit of space to fight. Sorry, Garth. I don't know why it skipped to Valari. Garth.
I think Garth is going to, after seeing what could have been another just amazing dagger fly away from him, he's gonna just say, I need an auto hit, and cast Magic Missile.
Magic Missile it is.
So 3 darts.
You miss.
Heading that way. Pop, pop, pop. All right, let's see. 2 plus 3 plus 2 is 7 plus 3 is 10 points of force damage.
10 points of force damage.
May the force be with you.
And also with you.
As the hits of these magic missile going to the side and chest and shoulders of this hulking zombie, bits of flesh do get knocked off a bit more, and you can see that it is very close to death at this point. Now we go to Valari. What is it that you do, Valari?
So just to make sure I understand,
Mhm.
Ari is straight in front.
So we've got
Thadric.
essentially a rock with Ari up against it, who had gotten smashed with the zombie. On the other side of the zombie, we have Thadric, and then we had magic missiles kind of go around and hit the zombie as it was auto hit, and Garth
Oh,
had
so I
a
can just
clean
go
line shot.
straight at it.
You can go straight at it with a. You have to get to an angle left or right because Thadric is kind of in the way.
Okay, then I'll just move to the left.
Yep.
Firebolt,
Okay.
which is 25.
That hits.
And then it's gonna do 5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. You sear the neck and face of this zombie, and it lets out a howl. The Hellhound comes rushing, the Hellhound was on its leg. It jumps back and then takes another bite at the zombie and misses just barely with its snap, and you hear the teeth clack. It is the zombie's turn here, and it will take a swing with its fist at Ari, and then it'll attempt to swing back, just kind of like a 1-2 punch at Thadric, who's next to him. So the swing at Ari is a 17 to hit,
Misses.
and the swing at Thadric is a 23 to hit.
That is gonna hit.
That is gonna hit. So it will do.
I only have a 20 AC, man.
Oh man, only. It will do 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and it will do 5 points of necrotic, as it does kind of claw out at you as well.
Sure glad we took that rest.
We then move on to Thadric, as the previous turn the zombie is still hustling off, and at this point it might have fallen in a ravine. Who knows?
Well, I'm still behind this orc guy,
Yep.
and I've got allies close.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go ahead and continue my, how clerics can sneak attack. I'm gonna continue doing that.
Yes, that new cleric subclass of rogue.
I didn't roll well, but I didn't roll horribly. Does a 16 hit?
16 does hit.
Okay. Here's where I rolled horribly. 5 damage.
5
That might
damage.
be all it needs.
Minimum
Magic-
damage.
Magic number of 5. You get another stealthy hit. This time you hit the same exact spot because you were so on point that it doesn't do much damage. You just kind of go back into the hole and back out. Now we get back to
What if he twisted it a little bit?
that's where he got the 5 points. Astro is hanging there, and he does attempt to bite again. which misses. He drops to the ground and kind of snaps out too. The dogs are having a little trouble here. Ari, it is your turn.
That'll be a soft 20 to hit,
It's
and then that's 15 points of damage.
okay.
And then this is a second swing is a 14 to hit.
Okay, that one does miss, which is fine because that first hit ends up finishing the zombie, and you swing in and you just lock into like the sternum, and the sternum of this zombie crushes inwards, and it just kind of drops to its knees and falls over. And it too attempts to struggle itself back up, but then it just falls slump. At this point, there's no returning zombie that had been pushed off to the side with the turn undead. It is mildly, disturbingly quiet. No shuffling around you. The battles in the distance have quieted down for the moment, and the dust is settling. Players, party.
Can we please go take a rest now?
Just
We'll
trying
need-
to take a nap.
We'll need to figure out a place to do so as carefully as possible. And we will need to set watches.
I didn't.
No, it doesn't exist here. Stop.
I can take watch. It's fine.
Okay. I think if we go back to where we were, I'm fine taking a watch. I
understand.
Okay.
You've taken a hit. I understand. I'm not saying no. Let's go do it. Stop
Okay.
looking at me like I'm gonna fight
Stop
something.
saying no, Garth.
I just.
I go back to the nook, the cranny, the crevasse where we had been camped out before, and get in there as hidden as we can and set up Linus.
Perfect. As you set up Linus, you do notice that immediately as Linus is set up, there's a couple pillow goblins pulling back the flaps of the tent, ushering you in. One of them has a couple warm, wet rags to clean you up with. A few of them are hustling some small bites, getting you situated for your rest.
Hey, magic people, could you like prestidigitate this to look like a rock?
I mean, yeah, but we have to like constantly do that, which I can do.
I mean, if you're taking watch, just a thought.
But I don't know if it works that way.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I
illusionary
don't-
images.
I can smash things. I'm just.
Prestidig-
Well, what you do,
It-
Valari, is you
Minor
could
illusion.
mold earth to create a wall in front of us.
Good.
Yeah.
Bit of a gap
That's
to where
fine.
you could move out and cast it again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the way Linus is set up, there's a couple feet from the door of Linus to the entrance of this little cove that has been made out of the rock, so it could work.
The nice thing about the illusory prestidigitation was it could make for a quick escape or whatever if we need to.
Yes, but if we close ourselves in, nothing should be able to get to us. Yes.
Theoretically.
And then you don't have to focus on it. If something gets in, we'll fight it, but make for an easier watch, more restful time.
I'm all for it. Valari,
I guess so.
All right.
that the dude, the pretty much just a dude.
It's better than not being a dude at all.
I'm gonna use that one.
You're
Unless by
welcome.
not being a dude, you mean being a dudette, because there's nothing wrong with being.
That's true.
Dude is gender neutral.
Okay.
It's true.
Is
I
it?
call everyone dude.
It is.
It is.
The 90s that was like, we need dudette, because I haven't heard that in a hot minute.
With that, you are able to set up your rest. We will discuss rest. This is a perfect time for a break. Valari is able to create that nice little wall and cover for their little cove. Inside the tent, it does seem to be a station to clean and prepare. There's a few cots that are made out of soft plush. Even the dogs are being tended to the Pillow Goblins don't know exactly what to do with the fiery Hellhound, so they're tossing a couple small like bone-shaped pillows at it, and the dog just shreds them, and they go up in smoke. But they are cleaning Astro up as well. You do get a free ration here as they pull out some meats that they somehow have kept in this pillow fortress. Questionable meats, of course, but
Pillow fridge?
the pillow
It's
fridge,
It's just
the last creatures that had been in there, who knows? But you do get some dried meats for free here, and we will do our rest. Those of you watching stream, we're gonna go on break. It'll be about 10 minutes. Do listen for our theme song. It's about a minute long, so that'll kind of beckon you back to your screens. And enjoy while we're on break. Do take a look at our sponsors up above, get to know what they're doing, and then also go enter our giveaway contest on Instagram.
And join our Discord.
And join
Join
our
Discord.
Discord. Yeah, we've had a really nice revamp of the Discord, so it's got a lot of awesome spots to chat and share and join in. So if there's side chat going on about maybe metagaming, our players aren't watching that right now. Do it. Chat there. But you can also chat here too. So join in, have fun. We'll be back in about 10. And welcome back. Players just came back from a long rest, and their party did too. Time travel is amazing. Before we dive back into the episode, do take a look at our sponsors again. Up above me, there's some icons in Discord. You can, in our chat here on Twitch, you can see all the fun stuff through all of our little commands here. It looks like Jared is firing off some of the commands, and you can see Caffeinated Kobold's shop and various others through chat here. Again, the giveaway, you can win stuff from these guys. So take a look, pop onto our socials, and good luck. May the odds ever be in your favor? Wrong story. But we are in a small little makeshift cave in the magical pillow fort of Linus that is keeping the party safe. Over the 8-ish hours they decided to take a long rest in, there had been little to no commotion that they could hear. Some thundering booms in the distance from other battles startled a few of them awake, but nothing was close enough to bring them out of their slumber and rest. Party, what is it that you do as you're waking up? Or finishing your watch, or, you know, your nighttime show of Jeopardy in the world of Nier?
I feel so ready for adventure, guys.
Not just a dude?
I'm more than a dude.
Let's do this. You got it, dude.
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I was feeling good before,
We know.
but
You were fine. You don't take any hits.
I do. It's just that.
Playful, not actually intended
Well,
to get.
Suffers
can
12
get-
points of damage.
I could give Ari Garth hit points. I mean health. I didn't say hit points. That means nothing in this world.
Yes, I think. All right. I think the best way for it. honestly, would be Valaria. You should probably be leading us. You've got the best eyes in the dark.
I resent that.
And I can talk to most anything we meet on the road at this point.
That's true.
At least anything hellish.
And then the rest of us move as quietly as possible. We need to find the door that goes to this, and he holds up the key, and get our way in. If we can take the tower out from the inside, it will probably be the best thing for this land.
All right.
And don't forget the crypt.
Let's avoid the crypt.
Well, yes. I mean, if we stumble upon the crypt, look, let's. I don't know. Valari, do you know the spell Fireball? I've never taken the time to learn it myself.
Mm-mm. I can't
No?
say I take time to learn things, though. I just we've been through this before.
That's right.
I just kind of know things, and I think it's kind of weird that you spend so much time with your nose in a book.
Yes. Well,
Just
we'll get into that more later. But, yeah, I've
If
never
you
taken the time to
survive.
learn it myself. So if there were... Yeah, I was hoping there was a way to just kind of like, boom, you're done, and walk away. There's not. So perhaps what we'll do is just avoid it at all costs. All right.
I mean, my
Onward.
chromatic orb has been pretty reliable, but
Yes, but it's not... See, what I'm looking for is
Mass
something...
destruction.
Yes, it affects an area, as it were. Nothing I do... I mean, it kind of does that, but not as much as I would like to. You understand.
Avoid the crypt.
Avoid the
Take
crypt.
the tower.
Take
go to the
tower.
crypt. Okay.
Take the pyramid.
No.
Wait,
uh,
what?
What?
To the crypt.
And like Garth is putting that cloak around him because Garth wears I can't reach it. Garth wears blue robes with red pants. Like he's colorful. He knows it's dark out, but like doesn't want to stand out in any way. So he's putting that dark cloak over himself, trying to get ready for some sneaky sneaks.
Channeling his inner Navar.
Yes.
Great. Let's do this.
Really wishing he had a blink dagger.
Really wishing he had a blink dagger. The second blink dagger I gave you, you threw away. Come on, man.
Well, wouldn't
Was
it just come back?
It a blink dagger?
No.
You have to tell me. You have to tell me.
By DM's code, you have to. No.
So
No.
Jared asked, doesn't the blink dagger come back? Yes, normally it does, but I think something happened where he catapulted it so hard or something, and it just kept going.
DM decided he was tired of it.
Yeah, Jared Sorton decided he was tired of the blink dagger, and it went out a window of a moving house. So,
A house on legs.
A house
of
that
course.
was walking, yeah.
Okay.
By nature of the blink deck.
So
I
he-
tried, guys.
He
I
did
tried.
find a dagger later on that was like carved on the blade where it said blink.
Didn't work the same. I tried. I threw it, and I did that, and nothing. And like a day later, after possible attunement, did it again. Nothing. It's just look.
It's
Look.
a thing.
The
It's fine.
eyeball carved onto the handle blinked.
That's all it did.
All right, so are you now forging out into the
If it's
world?
only one eye, is that a blink or a wink?
Oh, she's got you there.
When a cyclops blinks, is it always winking?
Okay, now we're going.
Inquiring minds, anyways.
Hey,
Back
hey.
to the
Existential thoughts.
Um,
That's my shtick.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I just rolled a 20 on one of these. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
No, Linus.
That's fair.
That's fair. No.
I mean, we're in a blanket.
You're in a blanket under some rocks that have been teetered on top of one another. You decide to go out.
Yeah.
Stay in.
Sneaky.
Sneaky like. As you carefully head outside and the earth is pushed forward, whether by hands or Volari, whatever it may be, you're now out in the night's air, still full of dust and smells of smoke. There are little pockmarks of fire in certain directions that you get to see a few hundred feet out in other directions. Others have battled near-ish to where you're at. You see a couple small explosions or effects of like lightning crackling through but hundreds of feet away from you, as there's some small, even smaller skirmishes now. A couple fighting one another. It seems the day is wearing thin, as it is now mid-evening, late evening, about 9-10 o'clock at this point. We are stealthing back to the tower.
Yes.
Perfect. Everyone, please roll your stealth checks, and I will roll the 2 dogs here.
Oh, wait, I forgot I need to roll portents after a long rest.
Oh yeah, there you go.
All right.
This disadvantage on stealth, stupid.
Your disadvantage on stealth is probably about my normal stealth.
I got a 15.
15.
Rolled
Yeah, I have an 8.
Okay.
Not a nat 1.
That's true.
I've got a 10.
I got a 10.
Oh, okay.
I'm still
We
waking
can't
up.
see in the dark, some of us, so we're doing our
Yeah.
best.
I'm still
We'll just
waking up.
just
and I
see
don't-
better.
Just see better. As you all begin to travel forward, the sky is full of clouds that keep covering over the bit of moonlight that you get a chance to see through. A few stumbles here and there, a knock of a knee against a rock, a curse word or two mumbled under one's breath fill this stealthy party. A slight yelp as a doggo bumps into a rock, nose first. And this is the most comedic stealth party ever. Fortunately enough, at this point, there's nothing close enough that does prey on you as you move forward. I will allow you to have moved about halfway to the tower. As you move forward, you do see a few new pieces of rotting flesh. Could have been a zombie arm or whatnot as you kick through. Could be something who had fought one of the baddies in the area. But this area is now starting to accumulate dead and re-dead undead. And whatever the term that is, re-deadified, I don't know. It seems that this is a hot zone for death and destruction. If you wish to continue stealthing to the second half of this tower, we'll need to do some more stealth rolls. Otherwise, you can just go running in, banging your coconut horse cloppers together.
I'm gonna stealth it.
I'll try.
Who
Okay.
told you about my horse cloppers?
Your horse cloppers.
There we go.
All right.
21.
Ooh. Also 21.
All right.
14.
Ooh.
14. All right.
12.
12. Both the doggos are 12 as well. So 14 and the few 12s, as you're moving forward, kick up a couple pebbles. And not enough to cause a full commotion, but you hear some sounds off to the left side where the large battle had occurred. And you see what you might think is a cloaked figure or a hood kind of peek out around a rock in a couple different spots, as if there may be others either waiting to ambush or hiding from ambush. Nothing approaches you in the dark, but you do see some movement, only about 20-ish feet out, to the extent of what this dim light will show.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
As
walk.
as you see this, you hear a bit of movement here and there. Nothing seems to be following you at the moment. But you're able to get closer and closer to the tower, and as you do, you almost feel a force pushing you away from the tower. The multicolors of crackling essence that you'd seen from a distance are still there, and they ripple across the metallic-y rock of this jagged tower. It looks almost as if you had broken a chunk of a calcified rock out, and it's really an ugly sight with shiny bits everywhere, as if it wasn't formed purposefully, but just formed by accumulation. And as Garth had seen earlier, he does notice some forces kind of holding the rocks together as they shift and move. Most of you see the rocks almost kind of moving on this thing from time to time. Not constant, But there was a moment that Garth had understood that this is being held together by some force of magic, and as that same force of magic holds it together, it pushes you back. You get about 30 feet from this tower, and every step you take forward, the other foot slides back in the dust, and you don't feel a force pressing against you. You just feel like the ground is kind of moving out from under you, not letting you continue forward. What you see on the rock is there's a small doorway of sorts that has been carved in, and a big metal gate that sits there. Off to your left, there's almost a wall of rock, and off to your right, there's a little pathway down almost that leads to a blue glow that faces from, essentially, if you're looking at the tower and you look down into this little pathway, this blue glow is facing the tower. It seems to have a tombstone sitting in front of it, and there's a few screams that are kind of distant into that cave or pathway that you can't see into, that seem to be where people, creatures, or things lie.
I think we found the crypt. No. You might just...
Moonwalking.
I'm moonwalking.
Cool. Should we just... You wanna just go into the tower? Like, if that doorway... I mean, we got the key.
I can't get closer. I try to like run, like just to see if I'm still being pushed back at the same.
Yeah, you're able to get a few inches further in, but then as you think you're passing like the mark of being able to just walk normally, as you slow down, it pushes you back out. So it's almost just as if you push into something that then slowly pulls you back to this perimeter.
I'd like to try holding up the key.
Yep.
And walking forward and seeing if that does anything for me.
As you hold up the key and walk forward, you do feel that the key itself doesn't have any pressure back, but you do, as if the key knows that its path is forward here.
Am I able to walk through it?
No, you're not able to either. And as you're all trying this, the Hellhound pushes forward and puts his head down and is really digging in and gets almost as far as Ari and gets pushed back. Astro, however, blinks in and gets almost to the door, and then just as fast as he came in, he comes scooting out as if a force shoves him out.
Oh, well,
he
that's gonna try that next.
he ends up next to you all, and then just starts running in place. Nothing of just like sheer gut allows you to do this, to break through.
The door that's ahead of me.
The door on the tower, or the door that goes
The
kind
door
of
on the
pathway?
tower.
Yep.
Can I see a lock on it?
You can see
Or like a keyhole?
You can see that it's a fairly ornate door. Being about 30 feet out and in the dark, I don't know that you can make out if there's a keyhole or if there's...
Could I see it?
You probably could, if you want to give me an investigation roll to see if you can catch a keyhole at 30 feet out.
I mean, my dark vision is 60 feet.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, but I mean, it's still trying to find a little tiny hole on an ornate carved door. So let's see what you get.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so you look and you squint and you see that there's a lot of little incroppings to this door. It's got a bunch of different styles to how it's made. Valari, you're not super versed in all of the styles of carvings and whatnot, but you do recognize a few things that ring out as like dwarven and elvish and potentially orcish that make up this door.
I could read it if I could touch it.
The I cast Mage Hand. I want to
Yeah.
see if I can push that forward.
Mage Hand ends up getting through the barrier and lets you get up to the door, as if the magical essence of this this hand is fine to pass through. So the hand is able to get up to the door, and you're able to place Mage Hand up against it.
I bring Mage Hand back. I give the key, and I move the Mage Hand forward. And I know I'm kind of hunting in the dark, but I'm just kind of like going to where key slots usually are, and I'm just kind of like doing a test of like gunk,
Yeah. Yep.
gunk.
Cool. So as you bring Mage Hand back, the hand that glows brightly and that has a very almost solid form begins to lose its form as it gets to you. It's still there, but it seems to be slowly being dissipated or almost eked away into this wall. So you do have the ability to try what you want, but Garth, you see that you don't feel that it's trying to eat away at you. You just feel that it's almost absorbing the energy. Penguin Witch Doctor, I wish it's not a 10.1 pound key.
I will, seeing that like the power is being stripped away from this spell,
Mhm.
I will dismiss it, recast it outside of the barrier.
Yep.
Kind of transfer the key over and send it and work as quickly as I can, seeing if I do get hit to find the
I was
spell.
hoping for you to play catch with your Mage Hand and just like launch it over with catapult.
Yeah,
What?
sorry.
Man, hoping. As
Dagger
you
was the key.
as you go over and begin to hunt and peck with the key, just roll me a straight D20 check.
Right. How does a natural 20 sit?
A natural 20 on that check. Garth, as you maneuver the hand in and you look at some of the workings that you believe you see, you at a last second think, oh, I believe I see some carvings on the left that make me believe the keyhole's on the opposite side. So you maneuver that hand over and clunk, it sinks into the door. From all you can tell, it seems to have gone into a lock.
Turn.
Right, as you turn the key, the mage hand flickers a bit, but the key turns and the door swings open, and you can see into this front room. A bit of light comes washing out. This light is of bluish nature and kind of crackling as if it was an electric or a static field of sorts. And from all that any of you can see, it seems like there's almost some pods of this crackling up against the walls inside, and then there's a bright glowing bit about 20 or 30 feet in, so about 60 feet from you, which you can't quite make out what it is.
Do I feel the force field lessen now that the door is open?
No, the force field stays there, but the door has now swung open, and as you're pushing up against the force field, you do notice a small cloaked figure in the doorway kind of peering out, and they're bouncing and bobbing a little bit as if they can't really see in the dark very well. And they look around immediately around the door to see if anyone's there who could have opened it.
Can I throw a pebble at his head?
Yeah, you can.
Not
sure
like
can try.
not like a rock to do damage.
Yeah.
But like, oh, that was an inconvenient thing that hit me.
I mean, you can try.
Yeah, I want to do it.
Let's do it.
I can see in the dark. I'm good. And I'm good with throwing pebbles, maybe.
Maybe.
Never thrown a pebble.
According to Tolkien lore, hobbits are extremely good at throwing rocks.
Okay.
That's true. I'm a half elf.
I'm a half elf. Not
See, that's
exactly.
not the same
Half
thing.
elf?
But you can't even see right now. I believe I'm at a. It's just my dex, right?
Yeah, for this.
Okay, so it's gonna be a 21.
A 21. You get the rock in, and halfway up the arc, it does an arc back of the equal shape, and it ends up hitting you right back in the hand that you had thrown it from, as it was still extended for the throw. It too doesn't seem welcome in this place.
I'm going to. The mage hand still has the key, and does it look like it's still being zapped of its power?
Yes, the mage hand is diminishing as it stands.
So I'm going to have it remove the key and come back to me as fast as possible.
Cool. As you do that, there's a click and a clunk as the key comes out, and the the small figure looks around and steps out and grabs at the hand a little bit, as if it's trying to figure out what just came from behind the door, and then it rushes inside and you hear, but you can't quite make out what it's yelling and shouting inside.
Oh no, Ewoks.
All right, we have possibly one opportunity at this. The door seems to be open. I would be able to Misty Step in. Ari, I would activate the belt. You would then possibly come in, as long as it does not immediately push me back out. You would then be on the inside. I could get on the inside again with a second Misty Step.
Astro already tried to Misty Step in the barrier.
Astro tried
Astro
from the
tried.
outside. I think he's trying to like launch himself in the open doorway.
Yes, I'm saying if we get through the doorway, we might penetrate the barrier, but I mean, I could always test it first, use Misty Step and see if it launches me back out. Would we all want to try to get in at this moment?
Don't you know, like anti-magic zone or something?
Nope.
Nope.
Great question, though.
That'd
I mean,
be helpful.
I know Counterspell, but they have already cast the spell. It would not help us in this moment.
I'm gonna reach in my bag and I'm gonna hand Thaddeus my gourd.
Yep.
Just in case. I go, I don't know, I just feel like you might need this more than me.
What is it?
It's a gourd, and 3 times per day you can shake it and it'll transport you 100 feet to a spot you can see that you're looking at.
All right.
All right, let's try it.
It's big enough that it does take 2 hands
It's
to
called
shake.
the Gourd of Travel, according to my sheet.
Here's what we'll do. I'll go first. If it launches me back, we'll know that we have to go a different way, which unfortunately might be through the crypts and then up into the tower. However, if we can get in now, that would be nice, right? Avoid
Right.
the crypt. That was the idea.
Yep.
All right.
I do have another option. If that doesn't work,
Okay.
All
it
right.
might break someone's back, but it's an option.
Let's
Are you
try
gonna
this.
step on a crack?
I
That's
don't-
it. No.
So I will cast Misty Step and try and get, like, I think the way I'm going to do it is walk as far into the barrier as I can to make sure that I would get through the doorway.
Yep, because Misty Step is what? 30 feet?
30 feet.
Okay.
So I would cast as far, like, once I see, like, it's pushing me back, I can't go any further, Misty Step, boom, through the door.
Alright. So as you do that, you push forward and you get a little bit of speed on your step and you cast. You land right in the doorway and you feel it kind of tugging at your cloak and satchel behind, but your hands are free to move into the doorway. What you do see as you peek inside is you see there's some like electric fields and almost like tube-like structures lining the walls for a good 30 feet in until there's a bright glowing electric pulsing field, and that's all you're able to catch as you're quickly thinking about getting inside and your moves there. How do you handle this?
I think if I pull myself into the room and I see those, I think Garth's brain would gather possibly these electrical fields are what is charging that area. Is there a lever near the door that looks like it would deactivate some sort of field?
No, there's no levers near the door that you can find quickly, at least. And as you kind of inspect the first couple tubes, you do see up against the wall, as the tube kind of is a half arc around the wall, it seems like there's some leather strapping up against the wall on one side, and then on the other side, there is a zombified remains of some humanoid strapped up to the wall that's kind of slumped in this. And you do notice, similar from your hasty look down the line through each of these tubings, but there's nothing in this immediate area. It's only a small alcove that you're in before it starts going down this electric hallway.
All right. Ghastly, but so far so good. I think Garth would turn the belt he would turn around and, give a thumbs up to Valari to show her that we can get in once we're past this point.
Okay.
He would, turn the belt and wait for a response from our fighter.
Yep. Ari, shield and sword in hand. When the belt buzzes, I would twist on my belt to activate the switch.
All right. In a moment, the pockets of space around each of you almost collapse and reappear, and Garth is facing the door that he had just teleported out of, still giving the thumbs up, and Ari is facing the group standing in the doorway, having just pulled her hand off of the dial that's on the belt buckle. And this is, I think, the first time that Thadric is now seeing this, too. So there was a nice swapperoo of these two folks and the rest of the group. Now that you're swapped, Garth, Ari, Valari, what do you do?
I think Garth says, "Quickly now, before anything else happens," and then he would, he's going to look over his shoulder. "Valari, perhaps you could carry the hound with you?" And then charges forward and Misty steps.
I feel like I was probably like, I didn't get to ask any questions. Because I don't even know if this is necessarily our best course of action, but I guess I look at Thadric and I go, I guess we follow them.
That dog's pretty big.
As you're standing there and looking at what's going on, an explosion does come out of the small doorway that is down the path. A couple human figures get blasted back, and one of them stands up, smoldering on the shoulder, and taps his shoulder and goes rushing back in the doorway. The other one stands up and fires a few arrows in, totally unaware of your presence, but that explosion allows the creatures on the outside to see a little commotion. So Garth and Ari, you only hear the explosion and a little bit of commotion out there, but you don't see what had just happened. Thadric and Valari and the two dogs do.
Where was the explosion?
So the pathway to your right that leads down with the blue glowing door frame that has the tombstones in front of it, that's where the two humanoids had kind of got blasted out.
I don't think I have a way, because Misty Step doesn't specify touch, so I can't increase the range of it.
No, Misty Step usually
It just
is
says
you,
self.
your person, and the items attached to your person. Things that you carry, such as a weapon, do work, but if you try to, Misty Step with a large bag of gold, generally speaking, some DMs will play it where you get less into Misty Step distance. Some DMs will say you can't take that with, and it stays behind. I will play either, but neither of them are great for you if you try
I don't
either.
want to leave the Hellhound alone, and I don't want to leave you out here.
What? I've got an idea. Let me see if this works.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see. I reach in my pack and pull out my immovable rod and I tuck it into my belt, but I keep the my hand on the switch.
Okay.
I charge as fast as I can into the force field or the thing and get as deep into it as I can.
You're able to get
And
about
when I
3 feet
start
in.
feeling to drift
He's gonna
back, I click the immovable rod.
Okay, you click the immovable rod, and you feel like this rod is a spot that you can pull yourself up to. The force is still pushing against you, but you can hug up tight to the rod.
Okay.
How far is he from the tower now, then?
27 feet.
I would call out to him, shake the gourd!
We can't bring the Hound!
Another explosion as you're calling back and forth. Only one of the humanoid figures gets blasted out of the doorway and struggles to stand up and pulls a dagger from their side and pushes back into the doorframe. Valari, you're the only one at this point that can see this battle. but there's some screeches and wails that are heard by all of you coming out of that doorway.
There's
Drop a rope to me. The
All
force
right.
will push it out.
guys, there's a battle over here. There's humans that are like being attacked.
We need to destroy the tower. I'm sure they are trying to destroy the crypt or find a way in. We have our way in. Fedric, can you carry the hound while you shake the gourd? Is that like a thing that you can do? Like pick a pound and shake? I don't know.
I just found this thing. I don't even know what it is.
We don't even know if it'll work for him.
I take the rope and I toss it out to him.
I don't know if we're
Ari,
supposed to be
as
going-
you're removing the rope from your bag, you do notice that the hilt only of the sword is glowing and flickering, and almost like it's coming alive with the presence around.
My
No, the hilt that you guys had gotten. You'd gotten out of the book from the librarian. It's shining brightly enough that it catches your eye when a flap of your bag kind of opens up. Knowing that you don't have anything that just spontaneously glows in your bag.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna put the rope out to Thadric and look for somewhere to like tie it to help sturdy it.
There doesn't seem to be many places to tie to close by. It's a
Okay,
fairly clean hall.
I'll ask Garth, come steady me.
Yep, I'll be real good at that.
Whatever. Put the rope out for Thadric.
I mean, I do it. I definitely do it. And I also cast Mage Hand, pulling backwards like on Ari's belt to add an extra 10 pounds of force.
10 pounds of force. I'll note that. So
Can I use the rod like a climbing axe? Like pull forward, clamp it. Pull forward, clamp it.
Yeah, as you do that, the rope comes flying straight out, and then as it hits the edge of the force field, instead of being straight out, it just kind of droops down to the ground, the remainder of it. So there's some that's hanging outside of the force field, kind of near Valari's feet, and she's got the two hounds with her, and you're able to pull and move forward. Because of the pushback, you're down to about 5 feet a second here. It's not an easy haul, but it'll take you a good 7 or 8 seconds to fully get yourself footed and into that door frame by the time this is all said and done.
But now, if Valari wraps the hellhound with that end of the rope, we pull him in.
Hey, that works for me.
As you're making
Come on.
this motion and the rope does come out, one more explosion does hit in that door frame, and the one humanoid Valari comes blasting out and does not get up from where they're at. And there's a screeching wail, and what you do see coming out slowly is kind of a hovering form like the Banshees, but it's bigger and more ornate. Robes flowing around all sides of this creature, and its long flowing hair is sticking up and off to the sides. And as it makes eye contact in your general direction, you almost feel the cold iciness of death penetrate your entire body. At this point, Astro looks up at you and yelps and teleports and gets his paws into the doorway and starts pulling back, and his front little toes are scraping.
We got him.
And you're able to get him in. It's now Valari and the Hellhound, and
I look at the hound and I look at the door and I see the guy.
Yep.
And I go to the guy
You go to what
on
guy?
the ground.
This floating thing is coming out after that guy.
But I thought he was closer.
No, so it's, if you look to your right and you're watching this happen, it's about 20 feet down a little bit of a dipping path. The door is looking out towards the tower, and the guy got blasted out and kind of against the dirt ball that was there.
But there was another guy before, right?
There was, but he didn't come back out. There were 2 that came out the first time, 1 that came out the second time, and now 1 that came out and is
Tie off the
this
dog.
time.
Tie him off!
You do
I tie up the hellhound, and I like.
as you begin to tie up the hellhound. I need you to make a sleight of hand to make sure we get a good knot on there. And then I need just a dexterity check to make sure you get the rope tossed around where you expect it to be.
Okay, so the sleight of hand is a 19.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good knot. That's a good knot.
And then dexterity is. Where is it? It's 12.
12. All right. You tie a knot as you're trying to make a nice loop to put around the hellhound, and you're struggling to get the knot and the loop up around its shoulders as you're expecting. And this creature keeps coming up towards you.
Yeah.
And as it does, what happens is you see the hands go out up over its head, and a ball of fire starts building between its hands. And there are a couple hooded figures that rush out of the rocks, short figures, and you see a small tail swing out from under one of the robes, and they rush up towards you and kind of surround you, and you see small clawed hands quickly trying to like help tie up the dog as they see what you're trying to do, and then a hood falls back, and it's a little goblin face, sharp pointy teeth, looks up at you, and he's pushing you towards the door, like trying to ease you out of the way. And
We're pulling the dog in.
the dog is still struggling to be tied up here, and the little hooded figures see the ball of fire, and they all just stop tying the dog up and rush towards the floating creature. And a fireball, actually, instead of going towards you, drops right in front of this creature, and a couple of the small hooded figures blast past you, but you do take a little bit of fire damage. You take 9 points of fire damage from the blast of this fireball, and in the midst of the flames, this figure is floating there and casting up yet another one, ready to take you. The rope is on fire here, but the hellhound seems unaffected because flame damage is inconsequential to it. It lets out a bark and blasts a burst of cone of fire at the thing coming towards you. If you wish to engage, we're going to go into some combat here. If you wish to teleport out, that's up to you.
I don't know, because here's the dilemma, like, Lauren cares about these, especially now these little, like, goblins that were helping her. Like, she cares about that shit.
But our job is to take the tower. I start pulling the hellhound. As soon as it's tied, I'm bringing that thing in, because that's a big baddie.
Is it pulled in?
The hellhound is being pulled across across this space.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, however, is Thadric needs to finish his last couple pulls, as this is a very quick chain of events that is happening here. So it doesn't move very far, and the rope is on fire. So I will need strength checks from all three of you to see how quickly we can pull this hellhound before the rope.
Can I, you can tell me which one and if this is possible. Thaumaturgy or my prestidigitation, and I want to basically, like, create, like, a gust of wind to, like, help push that way.
Push
or like
what way?
Push towards the door.
You could do thaumaturgy, but it won't be super effective here because it's more of just like a blast. Garth.
Could I use prestidigitation? It can snuff a light, like a candle. So if it's just the beginning of fire on a rope, could I use that to try and snuff that small bit of flame on the rope?
Yeah, you may.
Okay, so I'll do that and then start pulling.
Okay.
I have a 19 on my strength check.
Ooh.
19th on the strength check. And Thadric, you get to come in and help.
16 on a strength.
16. All right.
Even with a -1, a 17 on my strength check.
17.
Adrenaline's kicking in.
All of you pass, and between the two of you, you're able to snuff the flame. Valari, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Mm-hmm. That's a 10.
10. There is a couple shots that ring out as far as magic, like missiles coming over your shoulders, and a couple kobolds rush out, and they're firing magic missiles from their hands, trying to distract. As you see these fly past you, you look up and there's a small goblin up on a rock firing some shots. You notice on this goblin he's got a golden leaf pin on his chest.
Damn it.
So these guys, you've encountered black leaf pins. This one looks like you might be a higher order in this grouping here. But they're firing shots, but this fireball goes off and misses target. You still take some damage. You take 11 points of fire damage and 2 points of force damage and are pushed kind of away as these guys are trying to give you as much space as possible. It is down to one kobold next to you and one goblin who are just trying to give you space, it appears. What do you do, Valari?
I don't like when you do this to me.
It's a real Valari's choice.
DM secret. These guys were going to help you out if you went into the crypt, or if you tried this. They were there the whole time.
She asks, the kobold is like next to her, right?
The kobold's right next to you, and he's gearing up for, it looks like, another magic missile. He's got some stuff building in his hands.
I ask him if he needs help.
He looks up at you.
I'll hold him off as much as possible, but I don't think we can go at it alone. It's a lich!
And he fires a few shots off and closes his eyes.
Witch, I'm your wife! I'm
Would
not sure I
I-
want to be married anymore!
Would I know any? Should I roll insight maybe? Do I know anything about
About a
the
lich.
The lich.
You can roll a history check, and it's a very low DC here.
Oh, a lich.
A lich.
Alright, that'll just,
Hoo-ha!
It's good.
Yeah.
It's low because I.
Where's
just
your
rolled a
counterspell now?
12.
You rolled a 12. You
Rolling in a
don't know.
dog.
You don't know much about it, but you do recall when you were a youngster being on the streets that some of the other kids that you had been around
Mhm.
told some stories about liches wiping out villages or destroying armies if they were unaware. That these things are powerful and they bring the dead alongside them, and they just gain in power. Yes, Garth.
have we pulled in the dog? With the combined?
At this
Yeah.
point, yes, you've pulled in the dog. The dog is coming through the doorway at the moment that Valari had asked the question and
Can I?
whatnot.
Okay.
Would I?
Go ahead.
Sorry, well, I mean, you're in the thick of it, so you do what you're gonna do first, and
I
then
guess
Garth.
what I want to know, and I don't know if this is something I can. You can tell me if this is something I can do. I want to know if there's people that are like in relatively immediate danger. Like, does this have a mission? Is it going somewhere? Did it break out of something it wasn't supposed to? Something along.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know too much about what a lich does, other than, from what you can recall, they're usually either hunting for something or trying to find
And
a
the
piece
close-
of themselves.
And the closest village is like a day away.
Yeah, something like that.
I gotta fight it.
As you turn to fight it, you hear it mutter something in Infernal, which you understand as life leaves you quickly, and
Counter-
the counterspell.
Counter-
As you counterspell, the life leaves you quickly dissipates, and a bubble wraps around the kobold that was standing next to Valari, and the lich turns in the air and faces Garth at this point, and pushes up against this barrier, but it seems that it can't pass through the barrier as it's almost not part of or invited to the tower.
Now, counterspell being a reaction, it would almost just be like my turn to cast something, like just really quick in the heat
it
of
would be
everything.
your turn here. Yep. And if we're gonna continue this on, I will roll for initiative after this.
I don't think we'll have to roll, because here's what happens: the divineness of Garth knew that some evil would lurk nearby, and prepared him, and so he goes to cast his most powerful spell,
Catapult.
Polymorph.
Polymorph. Okay.
And he knows that it would be a 4 on the wisdom save. On the dice.
Wisdom save. All right.
So 4 on the dice for the wisdom save. I don't know what the modifier is. Does the Lich save?
Polymorph. What class or type of spell is that? What is the effect essentially?
The effect is that if he doesn't save, I transform him. It's a transmutation spell.
Transmutation. Okay. I mean,
He's
you
done
luck
this too.
out, and I know that you've DM'd and seen these things. Their conditioned immunities are charmed, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, but not transformed.
Transform.
What are you transforming it to?
Classic. Good old-fashioned snail.
As you transform it into a snail, instead of the snail dropping to the ground, the snail hovers in place and glows, and it just kind of hovers there like the Lich was. A ghastly presence, very condensed, a bright greenish glow coming off of it, hovering in space. It moves incredibly slowly at this point, so it doesn't really go very far.
I yell out, "Nobody touch it! Valari, come on!"
I know how the transmutation works.
You
Okay.
got it to the kobold.
Is the kobold okay?
Kobold's okay next to you, and he hears the "don't touch it," and what he was building in his hands dissipates, and he looks around, and he gives a little wave and a nod, and a handful more of these small hooded figures come out behind the rocks and rush down the pathway to where the humanoids were. He turns around and waves at you, and they all hustle into whatever is in the crypts below.
Garth,
Thank you.
could I roll would you mind if I roll, or you can say how much I would know about liches?
Yeah, Garth, you, as soon as you understood what was going on, and you heard the infernal muttering, and when you interacted with your counterspell, you've never seen your counterspell like pop something in front of a creature as you had at this point. Like it was incredibly visible, as if this thing was hell-bent on destruction. You would know that this is an incredibly powerful, basically against all odds, piece of evil in the world that you want nothing to do with, or you want everything to do with to destroy in this moment, but I don't think you've encountered a Lich.
So what I want to understand is, because DM Nathan, or player Nathan, knows things and what Garth knows.
Yep.
Would Garth know about phylacteries?
Roll me a history to see if you've read, because I don't think you've specified like your specific studies, but I know Garth has read anything and everything he can get his hands on.
Yes.
Like
So-
the Harry Potters.
Like
History.
all of the
You
Harry
said
Potters.
history?
History, yeah. And then I'll let you do that at an advantage, given that you read everything you can get your hands on.
That's fair.
23.
23.
Wait, yep, 23.
Garth, you do recall that, yes, there is such a thing as a phylactery, and you believe that that's tied to a Lich in some way. You may know a little bit more than that, but not like to the full extent of how a phylactery is 100% connected to a Lich, other than they go kind of hand in hand from your knowledge.
I think as they're hoping that Valari is coming, and the plan is to move inside the tower, and he sees the group of kobolds and goblins running off, he's going to yell after the wizard-looking one, the spellcasting one, try to find what's called a phylactery. Maybe it's something where he would respawn. And then, if he knows that, I don't know if, or you said he didn't know that. Just find the phylactery and destroy it. I'm pretty sure that'll take away some of his power.
As you yell and that kobold head kind of wave to Valari, he turns and looks at you and nods, and gives 2 little kobold thumbs up. And then he does a little snap and prestidigitates a little explosion of fireworks above his head. And then snaps a couple more times, and fireworks go up above his head, just like, we're doing great, thank you, because you've yelled, and I don't think he can fully understand or yell back to you. He's communicating in some way.
Cool.
And then he hustles off. Volari, you do look down and find that there is a small piece of paper that he had dropped as he ran off.
I'm gonna pick it up.
As you pick it up and look at it, this little note says, Bardic Fun, fireworks for the best show, and it's got a little incantation to it that seems to be something that was scribbled on the back of a napkin. And this was a very crude little napkin piece that had been used, and on the front side you see half of a dragon skull, similar to the Stumble On In dragons, just in black and white.
The thing that bothers me the most about that whole sequence, what kobold uses napkins?
Well, what kobold was allowed into one of the inns to use a napkin? Yes.
Well, we don't know that he used it. We just know that he wrote on it.
That's true.
He
He
didn't
What
know
kobold
before.
can write?
Seeing that things have been taken care of outside, I would like to inspect the glowing sword handle, hilt. That's
Glowing
the word.
sword hilt. All right. Volari, do you make your way in with, or
Yeah, I'll go
Okay.
in.
all right?
I'm assuming I'm casting this.
You would have to at this point because somebody ran off with your gourd.
It's fine.
Even use it.
No, it's fine. I just think he'll benefit from it in general more than me.
As you make your way in, and the group of you is standing there, yes, you're able to poke in at the glowing handle in your bag, Ari. The rest of you now see the hallway that I described, the electric tubing on the sides, essentially, a couple corpses basically drained of their essence and energy that you can hardly tell what they were, and a few of the tubings. It's crackling and silent. You don't hear anything after that figure had run off. Ari, as you reach in and grab the hilt only, you do feel a presence, almost as if there's like a mumbling or murmuring that it's trying to talk to you in the back of your head, but it's not very well accustomed to its owner, as you probably haven't taken enough time to attune with it, as it's not a full weapon, so it didn't cross your mind to do so. But the mumbling and murmuring seems to be shouting and trying to tell you something, and it tries to get louder and louder, but it just continues to get more and more muffled. And that's all you get from it.
Okay.
The rest of you see just a faint glow to the hilt, not as much as Ari had seen, and you don't hear any of this.
So I see she just pulls out essentially a broken hilt, right?
Yeah, something without a blade on the end, correct?
Yeah. Oh, I can fix your sword if you give me like 1 hour.
Yeah. Okay. Later. I blacksmith too, but I'd love your help.
Oh, yeah, but I could just do it.
Like, maybe not right now, but yes. If you don't need a smith.
I don't need a forge or nothing.
Wait a second, just to be sure that I understand. We've taken 9 hours in the last, 10 hours to sit around and not do anything. And this is the moment we find out we could have had the sword fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, but more pressing matters. I put the hilt back in the bag and tie it up. We gotta destroy this now. That was my backpack. We gotta
Well,
destroy
okay.
it, guys.
Hey,
But
guys.
here's the thing. If he fixes that sword, I feel like it could potentially be useful.
You want to take an hour? In the entrance to the tower. With all the evil. To
Power.
see if he will fix the sword. You
Well,
still
you
got my
already
gold?
killed that creature thing, or made it some sort of ghost snail.
You know what? We've got literally like an hour on that spell. I'm thinking on it real hard, and we've got less than that now, so we've got like 58 minutes.
Yeah, let's move.
Oh, I thought that was like a full-time thing.
Nope. Yeah, I can only do that for an hour. He's
Well,
a
I
snail
mean-
for an hour, unless someone kills him. And then he's in a lich again. Oddly enough. I'll describe it more later on how the spell works.
But do
Well,
you
where
think
are we
we're gonna
going now?
destroy?
I'm guessing you can't do that thing as we walk and talk, right?
No, I need an hour to like.
Okay, yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Should we just smash these blowing blue glowing, the blowing things?
The
Sure,
glass
go
globe.
right ahead.
I feel like they are harnessing a lot of energy. I say we find the source.
Okay.
It's probably that electricity from that lightning thing.
Well, yes.
Let's go.
Now, are we walking down the hall at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I closed the door.
And
Perfect.
yeah.
You close the door.
Don't close the door.
As you close the
You
door,
left the key in it, you fool.
No,
No,
I
he,
had the
he
key
brought
out.
it.
as you
Never
close
mind.
the door and it shuts, it almost makes like a suctiony sound of it goes and sets in the little faint amount of like airflow that you'd expect from a normal door in this day and age doesn't happen. It's sealed
I
around all edges.
feel like you just locked us into this tower.
There's a handle on this side.
Pull
We
on
have the
the,
key.
push the. Well, the key worked to get in. Can I push the door? I just want to make sure.
Pushing doesn't work. The door opened inward.
It's
Oh.
a bull.
Well, the way you said it earlier, I thought it opened
Sorry.
outward.
The door
You
opened
didn't
inward.
really specify.
The
So
door
I
opened inward.
so I pull it.
An exterior door that works inward is against code.
I pull a door. I pull on the door.
You pull on the door, you're able to open the door up, and it's open for you, and you shut it back, and every time you do the open close, it makes a sealing suction sound.
I just have a thing about being in closed spaces.
All right. Door's closed. I'm ready, but I'm moving forward.
The two dogs in your party are walking heads down, tails kind of tucked underneath, and cautiously looking side to side as they're not quite excited to be in a room full of these electrical barriers and beams.
Me either. Me either, dogs.
Did we want to go the direction of the crypt? Like, I just want to
Nope.
make sure. I thought we wanted not the crypt.
Yep.
Okay. Just checking.
I mean, we only
Doesn't
have
mean
one
I
way
have
right
to
now,
like
right?
it.
So moving forward,
Moving
cautiously
forward,
and perceptively.
cautiously and perceptively moving forward.
That is how I would describe the way in which I walk.
Okay. As you walk cautiously and perceptively, you notice in each of these tubes, every single one of them has leather harnessing to hold something to the wall. Most of them empty. A few of them have shriveled up remains of creatures. But up ahead, as you get towards the glowing central beam, you notice that there's something that's got multiple layers of these electrical fields around it, and it opens up into a dome-like room. In this dome-like room, around the walls, there's a few of these tube pieces, but the tubing is, instead of like electrical beams that go across, it seems like an electrical shield, almost like glass, if you were to think of that like a glowing glass. And behind each floats various creatures, humanoid, non-humanoid. They all seem to be in like a frozen state. At the far end of the room, there's a large glass that has an incredibly large, scaly reptilian figure, large head and big teeth, large back legs and a large tail, just hovering in stasis. To the sides, you notice all sorts of creatures, ones that you've never seen before, ones that Garth has only read about in books. It seems that there is a menagerie of beasts, humanoid and non, covering the edges of this room. As you walk in, the room is about 100 feet across. This glowing thing is in the doorway, not like blocking the door, but just inside. On the floor, there's blue glowing lines that trickle out from this glowing orb in the center that go to all of the casings, let's call them, on the edges of the room. Other than the crackling of this energy flowing through, there's no other movement of non-caged things.
I see two options. One, central object is the source keeping everything in stasis. If destroyed, everything in stasis will become out of stasis and quite possibly hostile to us. Option two, everything in stasis, its energy is being used to power said source so that it may then maintain the interplanar dimensional travel.
Who's stasis?
The creatures. Stasis.
Stasis.
No, stasis isn't a person. Sorry, stasis is a state of being similar to unconsciousness.
Oh, why did you say so? Okay.
Well, it's not quite unconsciousness. I feel like we don't.
So
have the
do we
time.
smash it or do we not?
Well, could I do a little bit of investigation to see if one of those theories pans out? Like if I would be able to figure that out?
Yeah, how do you want to investigate that?
Smash it.
Lick it.
I would like to see I would be investigating which way the currents are running. If it's either from pods to center or from center to pods. I think I would also be looking for any type of contraption that also controls it, if there were any.
Yeah, so to the naked eye, it seems like it's crackling and sparking. Just by looking at it, you're not able to surmise where it's going. So how would you like to test the flow?
Am I able to kind of, like, these lines that are on the floor?
Mm-hmm. They seem to be grooves that have been, like, cut into the floor. As you bend down, there's nothing over it. It's just that the electricity rides in the groove. So you can touch it, and as you get close, you feel a staticky sensation on your hand.
So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to sacrifice my 2 pinkies. I'm going to stick... The idea is I'm going to put both of them in there and see which one gets shocked first. If the power is going this way or this way. I didn't say it was a great idea.
You could use something other than your pinkies.
What is the hell? Can I what is the
would be-
hellhound doing?
The Hellhound and Astro are actually sticking very close, and they're looking around the room. They've actually slightly moved away from the group a tiny bit to investigate some of the smaller containers around the edges.
Mhm.
And they both have stopped at one that looks like there's a canine creature behind it. And while they kind of like stopped and pulled back, like this thing is superior or like alpha to them, they stand up tall and lean forward and look as if it's no threat to them. Astra walks up and noses the containment, and as he does, it zaps him a little bit, but his fur glows bright blue and kind of sparks out the ends, and he backs up, and it does no damage to him, as that's kind of his little shtick. His electricity is his thing, but he backs up and kind of goes, and the Hellhound backs away just a little bit, as electricity is not his thing.
Garth,
Yeah.
Garth, I don't think you have to put your hands in there. I don't think these creatures should be held this way. I think they're being used.
Hey, Thad.
Yeah.
Can I call you that?
You can call me Thad, Thadric, Demas, whatever.
Cool. So that I changed my mind about the sword. I think this is going to take us a minute, and it was kind of trying to talk to me. Like I picked it up and I heard a voice. I don't know, maybe if you give it a blade, maybe it would talk.
But what about Garth's pinkies?
What about his pinkies?
I was going to stick them in electricity, but Valari just like, as I was kind of like looking at my pinkies and then looking at the electricity and kind of lining everything up, she seems to have stopped me, telling me not to do that.
But you're not gonna do it.
No.
Because I don't want to be looking at this sword when I could watch you stick your hand in electricity.
I mean, I can hold off. I could. I think the other thing I would do is, I would say I've got one other way that I could investigate for at least a little bit. If we want to take an hour, maybe.
What if he just gets started, and if stuff hits the fan, are fans a thing?
Yeah, I guess I could try again later.
You can pause it.
No, but I could try again later.
Okay.
All right. Yes, I mean, I don't think that this. I mean, taking an hour, I don't think I need an hour to figure it out, but maybe I need an hour to figure it out. I don't know. I was just going to try and stick my pinkies in it. I didn't really have any other ideas. Can I roll to see if Garth has better ideas than Nathan? Because Nathan. I've got one other idea, but it would literally take 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
That's okay, do it.
The other idea is that Garth would reach into his satchel and pull out those magical gloves that have diamonds on the back of them.
Okay.
And he wants to approach the orb and see if he can see into it for its workings.
Let's
Don't know that.
Let's have Nathan roll an intelligence to see if Garth has better ideas than shocking himself to death. Because I think there might be other ways.
Yes, I don't understand if the electricity's on the inside. If it's So 22.
22. Garth, you would understand that electricity doesn't flow through objects like wood or stone or things that are non-conductive or far less conductive. So you probably wouldn't want to put your meaty, fleshy, water-filled nubbins in the electricity because you'd be a good conductor. So staffs or stones might be able to block a current, and maybe if you dam up a river, you know which side it's coming from if you don't know the flow. So you could try to dam up this electricity briefly to see which side cuts off.
But if he cuts it off, there's always the potential of the things opening and where something explodes. Like, just wait. Just give them a little bit of time.
Wait for
Fine.
No,
I'll just sit back. No.
What are we
The
waiting for?
sword thing, apparently.
No, this is a filler. There's not an easy fix. It's gonna take us time, so I figured he could do this as a side thing. But I think our main task is to figure out what's going on here.
Are there exits from this domed hall?
Yeah, on the other side, directly across from the doorway, there is another door, very seemingly similar. It leads to a wall, so it's a hallway goes to either direction, is what your assumption would be. So
Maybe this is like a come back later thing?
Like, keep exploring the tower?
Yeah, because there might be like an off switch just upstairs. If I
Okay.
was building an evil compound, I'd have an off switch.
I mean, that's fine. Yes.
Okay, I look to the handle. Sorry, buddy, I don't know what you were trying to tell us, but we'll be back. And I stick it back in my bag.
Yeah, as you're sticking it back in your bag and getting prepared to go towards the doorway, you do hear a clanging of like chains kind of being banged and dragged in the hallway ahead of you, getting louder and louder as it's approaching.
Alright, when did that sword start talking to you?
just when we got in the building. I hear someone coming. Should we hide?
Who's gonna hide? We're in the middle of a hallway.
We're not in
And
the.
that one dude knew we were here.
Okay, well then we better get ready to fight.
The only hiding spaces you'd have would be to try to squeeze between the electric fields, but if you're getting ready to fight, how do you set yourselves up for what's coming around the corner?
Could I go by the side of the wall and hide him from? It's so.
It's quite a ways across the room, and also there is electric pods that go all the way up to the edges of the door frames.
Ah, okay.
So nothing.
I'd
to
stand in the
hide
middle of the
behind.
room, sword drawn, and I'd be a target.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, yeah, Garth is preparing for like right at the entrance of the hallway into the room that we are standing. He's preparing create bonfire.
Okay.
I want an angle at the door, but where I'm not like on the other. So if like Thad's in the center, I would be like off to the side.
Okay. So you could make a line or an arc facing the door if you wish to be spread out. If you wish to stick all together, go for it. Each of you may prepare something. We aren't in battle yet, but you know something is approaching. So it sounds like Garth is preparing a bonfire. Valari, Ari, Thaddeus, anything that you wish to do, Thadric?
I think Garth would say, I know we fought a lot of creepy things, but chains could mean that a prisoner broke out. So let's keep that in mind before launching. But like, if it looks like it's gonna take us on, then attack it.
Fair.
Fair?
All right. The chains continue to drag and clank closer and closer. Valari, do you have anything you prepare? Or are you just hanging out? Okay. As a creature about the size of an orc walks around the corner, reddish skin, you do see that it does have chains hanging from all edges, around its neck, around its head, down its arms, from its legs. It seems to be twirling a chain in one hand as if it's part of its thing. And it looks across the group, and it makes eye contact with each of you. You see like burning embers in the eyes, and you feel that there is a very demonic presence here.
Would
I don't think he's a prisoner.
Would I know what it is or understand anything about it being?
Valari, you wouldn't know what this is. You do recognize a bit of like the demonic traits in terms of the shape, muscular patterns, etc., that make this creature up. So you know it's an infernal of sorts. Otherwise, you don't know specifics about the creature, and it comes like kind of quickly, not a run, but not a walk. It's kind of hustling into the room at you all. And if anyone wants to use that reaction that you prepared, do you think create bonfire is something you want to do here?
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely seems like a baddie. Because Garth has not only in this time been seeing demons and things, but he's encountered demons before. So, I mean, as much as he knows, this isn't going to work well. He's gonna still cast create bonfire.
All right. As it hustles in and you create bonfire under it, it steps through the flames, and a creepy grin, much bigger than a human's grin, goes up across the face. You see fangs and long teeth kind of show, and it looks across the group. It is about 40 feet from most of you, so just outside of one movement. We're going to go into battle here quick. So, initiatives, please.
Just so everyone knows, I knew that wouldn't work.
Ari.
17.
17. Garth.
That's a natural 20 for a 23.
23. Cedric.
Pretty sus over there with your natural 20. 21.
21.
21.
Right. Lauren and Nathan, we're gonna need to have dice cams on you. So we'll be sending a camera your way.
I saw it.
I saw it. Valari,
I got a 17. Astro got a 5.
a 5 on the die or a 5 total?
No, a 5 total.
Okay. Looks like Penguin Witch Doctor's an 8. Thanks for joining in there.
What are you looking at?
PWD.
Get.
And then we
We gotta
have the
fight him now?
Hellhound coming in. Perfect. Let us start this battle. Garth, we start the top of the turn order with you.
Garth is going to cast Mind Spike at 3rd level.
Mind Spike at 3rd level. Okay. And I'm rolling on
You're
which one
rolling
again?
a Wisdom saving.
Wiz, yes. 17.
That will save, but you will still take half damage of these 4d8s. So give me a second here.
Yep.
Oh, okay, babe. I need you to look in the box. Do you see the 8?
Yep.
Do you see that 8?
Yep.
I'm gonna just bring this one to you so that you can see what is it.
7.
Okay, and that's only
Then-
3 of the 4, so I need to re-roll one of them. Okay, well that's where it's evened out. That's a 1. Okay, that's a 1.
All right.
So 16, 17, 24, cut in half, 12 psychic
12
damage.
Psychic damage. All right. Okay, cool. So, you see like a wince on the face of this chain devil here, and it steps forward and gets in the midst of the group. It's only about 10 feet out from the Hellhound that was kind of pushing towards the front, and it throws a chain towards the Hellhound and hits and wraps the Hellhound in chains, and the Hellhound drops and takes a little bit of damage and lays there kind of flailing in the chains that have been put around it. This chain devil is now standing in the midst about 20 feet from each of you as you all kind of got around the arc and it rushed in. So we go to Thadric next. And
I say, Billiam S. Doggo, no!
but
I reach for my holy symbol and press it forward, and a blast of radiant light fires out
as
as I fire
you do
radiant
that,
bolt or guiding bolt.
as you reach into your bag, you look up and you notice that your grandfather is standing in front of you. The grandfather that you had lost a handful of years ago. And you hear, Thaddeus is the name that we must carry on. I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
That's weird. I'll do it. I got a good roll. Woo! I did. 24.
24.
Happy?
At this point, you look through this image of your departed grandfather, and he disappears as it seemed to be an illusion, and you're able to cast forth your spell.
I don't like that he can, like, see into my soul and then pluck pieces. So this is some extra power behind this. So to hit is a 26. Does a 26 hit?
26 does hit.
Okay, and you're going to take 22 radiant damage.
22 radiant damage.
Go.
Woo!
Boy.
I love guiding bolt. Oh,
And then I'm going to move up and stand next to Billiam.
Next to
with my
Billiam.
sword out.
All right, perfect. We go to Ari. Ari, as you stare this chain devil down, you too see your long departed grandfather
Hey, Grandpa Club.
right in front of you, and he nods his head as if in approval as he looks at the battle-worn woman you've become, and you need to roll a wisdom.
I thought you were gonna be like, she sees my grandpa.
No.
Does she know my grandpa?
Probably not gonna save. That's a 7.
As you look at your grandfather giving you
She's
the
so
nodding
gullible.
approval, his face kind of sinks to a ghastly form, and his jaw drops much further and lets out a wail that only you can see. Only you can see this, and he like screams at you, and you are now frightened from the chain devil and must run away from him this turn.
Okay.
So you use your movement to run back towards the other door, and you are now about 50 feet from the chain devil.
Okay.
Valari, it is your turn.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate that I can roll 17 in initiative and still be at the bottom of the
Yeah.
turn order.
You're not at the bottom. The dogs are after you.
Okay.
Sorry.
As you look up as well, there are 2 tieflings standing in front of you. A male tiefling with his arm around a female tiefling. You notice the horn pattern on the female tiefling is very similar to your own. And on the hip of the male tiefling hangs a crossbow with VEL carved into it, much like the one that you have. And a tear rolls down each of their cheeks as they stare you down. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shoot. You can't crit fail saves, right?
No.
Good. Okay, so it's a 3.
They both let out wails and screams and turn to ice in front of you and then shatter into pieces. You two must run in fear of this chain devil.
And now I'm completely traumatized.
Yep. And you are about 50 feet out. The tied up hellhound lets out a whimper and tries to fight away as it too sees something of its own and is running from it. Astro,
He's a good boy, he'll save.
he's a good boy, but he doesn't save on this one.
I don't believe
And
you.
he lets out a little yelp and goes running towards Valari and ends up right between her feet, 50 feet away.
Oh.
And we go to the top of the turn order. Garth, it is your turn, and you too, sir, are in range. So what you see ahead of you is a young man that has very similar face shape and hair style, slightly curly, same color as yours. And he looks at you and says, "I wish I could have met you, brother. And you must make a wisdom saving throw."
Oh, dang. Honey, just see.
You're too far away.
I'll pick it up. What does it say?
18.
Okay,
18.
plus 4 is 22.
He nods his head, and as he disappears in front of you, you hear, "Make me proud."
And I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna say, "Stop messing with our heads!" And I pull out a dagger, and good old reliable
Good old reliable. All right.
catapult.
Catapult. Here we go.
Deck save on your part.
Deck save on my part.
No, not her hilt.
Oh, that's a 6 on the die with only 2 more 8.
Nope. And so I will roll those 3d8. See if they can
Good
roll as
again.
well as last time. Not too shabby. That's 17.
17. All right.
Hey, do we want to roll the did it go pointy end first?
Yeah, go for it. Even it did, odd it did not.
Ah,
Odd.
rolled
so
a
you
13.
you
Ah, bad
only
luck.
only get that bludgeoning damage there. You
Cool.
said 17?
Huh?
Correct?
Yeah.
17 for damage? Perfect.
Yes.
As the dagger flips and rolls through the air, the butt of the dagger hits the devil in the chest, and it staggers back a little bit. And you can see that hit gave it a nice shock. It looks as if it's doing not too well. It is the Chain Devil's turn now, and he does swing out at Thadric with a chain. So Thadric, I am going to roll to hit. It is a nat 20 here. So you will take.
Pretty sus.
You will take. It's upright right here, Lindsay.
Here, let me see.
Not moving. Oh, it just tilted.
Sorry, the dog. Oh yeah, no, it was a 20.
It was a 20. It rolled. I have
I
a
saw
dice
it.
cam. It's 100%. It's not painted 20 on all
I
sides.
saw it. Roll.
We do have 17 points of slashing damage, and I need you to make a dexterity save.
Dexterity save. Not my best one. Actually, my third crappiest one. Only adding 2 to this.
What's best?
16.
16. You do save. You are not ensnared by the chains, but you did take the damage. And it is your turn, Thadric.
I didn't like.
Your grandfather appears again in front of you and attempts to say something. I need you to again roll on a wisdom save.
That is my best one.
There you go.
Are we able to know when party members are bloodied?
I mean, you can
See
call
blood.
that out. I don't have your bloodiedness here, so you can call that out if you're bloodied, because you'd be able to see a limp or bleeding or whatnot.
Soft 20, and I am. You feel like if I sneeze incorrectly, I'll be bloodied.
Okay. Your
That's me right now.
Your grandfather does call out to you and say, "You carry the name well," and he disappears again. What would you like to do, sir? The Chain Devil's about 10 feet from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire another. Cause he's still that far away. I'm gonna fire another guiding bolt.
All right.
I'm on.
Hit this time. Where are we at? We're adding 7 to this beast.
Oh,
Oh, I too have a natural 20.
Whoop,
Finally, number
Oh,
1.
that's
There it
great
is.
base damage.
Yeah,
There it
buddy.
is.
Okay, so walk me through how we do the natural 20s.
Nat 20, you get all of your base damage, and then
Okay.
you essentially roll your normal hit on top of that. So
Okay.
whatever your base is for the core numbers, pretend you hit the highest for that, and then you roll your damage on it. Oh, geez.
It's gonna be good, guys.
Mm-hmm. Guiding bolt's the best.
24 plus 15 plus 4. So 24 plus 19,
43.
43.
43.
Yeah, baby.
Guiding bolt hits this chain devil, and he glows at every angle. The chains all turn golden, and then he blows up into a thick cloud of smoke that goes up towards the ceiling. The chains around the Hellhound do similar. They explode off of the Hellhound, and the Hellhound stands up and whimpers a little bit and looks around. The lot of you who had been scared are no longer frightened by anything in the room and kind of come to your senses for a brief moment here as the Chain Devil is destroyed.
Ow!
Quick! Someone tell the cleric he needs to heal himself.
Or here, just have a potion. And I pull a potion out of my pack.
No. Save that for when Thadric's not here.
That's true. That's a really good time to use those.
I'll do. Is anyone else hurt?
I mean,
Nope.
Nope.
I got scared and ran away for the whole battle.
I mean,
Your Hellhound has taken 8 points of damage.
if I sneeze wrong, I'll be bloodied.
Okay, so Valari and the Hellhound as well as Thadric need a little bit of...
Well, I will do. Do I have 10 minutes?
I don't know. Do we
Yeah,
have
you
10
could-
minutes?
you
10
could-
minutes.
We'll
Take
give
10
you
minutes?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
I post up at the doorway.
Yeah. I'll do a as a ritual, prayer of healing.
Nice.
For 2d8 plus 4 for everyone in a 30-foot radius.
2d8 plus 4.
8, 7, 15 plus 4, 19. I'm
19
gonna get
points of health back. Hellhound is fully healed. Valari, you've gotten your health back.
Well, a lot of it. Not all of
Thadric,
it.
you've gotten some of your health back as well. The room is fairly silent. There is a crackling that comes down the hallway, very similar to some of the other crackling in the room. No footsteps, nothing come with it, but as the crackling grows, a small floating figure enters the room with a tattered cloak on it. It floats pretty high. The sleeves of the cloak float down over the hands. The cloak is covering completely whatever this figure is, and it stops in the door frame and just kind of almost perceives the group, doesn't look them over per se, and just holds for a minute.
Like,
Just
What- what's up,
holds and
floaty dude?
waits there, yeah. No response to your initial check.
What is your purpose here?
Still silence for a moment. The dogs in the room kind of patter their feet back and forth, a little uneasy in watching you lot. There's crackling underneath this creature that's keeping it floating.
Can I roll a history check to see if I've read about this guy?
You
It's
can
tight.
Yeah, you could roll a history check.
do you need a doctor?
16.
16. As you think back through what this thing could be, it's not so much the history, but your Arcana training. You realize that whatever this creature is that's causing it to float and crackle in place, either it's a very powerful magic, or it's an undead, or it's a specter of sorts. But whatever it is, it's not great. And just as you are like leaning forward to understand what this is, the arms of this cloak come up and kind of pull back the hood, and you recognize a face
The librarian.
underneath the hood.
So, what is it that you are doing here?
And you see the face of TikTok staring you down, the small goblin with a slight grin looking across the group. And
What are
he looks at you all.
I think this vessel knows who you are.
And pulls back the sleeves a little bit, and the little goblin hands are there, and he rustles through the cloak and throws a bent fork and a bent spoon.
Well, he didn't carry much good on him.
Out, damn spot.
And with
What
that,
have you done with our friend?
and with that, we are going to end our session here with a major cliff hanger.
TikTok!
Not TikTok.
Again, we gotta save this guy again.
I told
Well,
you you shouldn't have
TikTok.
brought him.
So,
TikTok's one of our emotes, isn't it?
yeah,
Yes.
Penguin Witch Doctor just
Emoted and all
emoted
that.
TikTok, and we have TikTok bucks that you can, yeah, TikTok. People fell in love with him in season 1. He was just a side character. Now he's part of the bigger
Crucial to
plot.
every season.
Every time I hear TikTok, I just think $K$, huh?
Oh, Kesha. Yeah, whatever. Wow. Wow, indeed. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm
was
gonna
a good
have the players quickly go over the fun stuff that we have sponsoring and on our channels going on, and I'll get us queued up for a raid. So stick around for just a moment. There's some fun stuff in store. You could win things, but we're gonna raid somebody else. So hang tight.
Look, you've heard us say it before. We love a very, very select group of people around here. Not only the people we're rating, but we love ourselves some Blacksmith Craft dice because they roll just what you need. You saw the 20s I was rolling. They're awesome. What else do we love, Lauren?
Coffee.
Caffeinated Cobalt is delicious. It kept us going. I gotta admit, I got the jitters right now, but that's okay.
I don't know
It's
if you
fine.
can tell.
No.
And Critical Treasures with their awesome, nerdy everything.
Yeah, all three of these sponsors are a part of an amazing giveaway we've got going over on Instagram. You want to check it out because we not only have an amazing mug from Caffeinated Cobalt, we've got some of these burnished bronze, beautiful blacksmith craft dice, and we have an advent calendar full of dice from Critical Treasures.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it on Instagram, you gotta go look. It's part of the giveaway. You gotta follow all these people because they're so amazing. We gotta show the support. So go check that out on Instagram. And thanks for tuning in because this was an amazing episode.
Whew!
Wow.
Yeah.
Got real.
On that note, winners, we're going to try and get this to you as soon into December as possible. We are allowing all over the globe, and the calendar is coming from the UK to the US. So we'll try and get you in there. But hey, if you're the winner and you get it partway into December, why not start by opening like 4 or 5 doors instead of just one? So
I like to save until Christmas night
ooh,
to open
Yeah,
all
open
of
all
the
the
advents.
doors. And
It's normally great, except if it's like an alcohol one, then
I mean, according to my advent calendar, Christmas is like 3 days away, but
my tree's been up for a week.
ours has been up for 2.
Not until the day after Thanksgiving.
I
Day we
married
celebrate.
the Grinch.
It doesn't count in 2020, Garth.
I know, right? We all need a little extra.
Look, here's the thing: is I work at Ace Hardware. Okay, I've had Christmas up since September, so I can't.
So why not here too?
Because I can't bring work home with me. Okay.
well, we are going to raid.
Raid!
So I'm gonna
We'll talk
attempt.
later.
I'm gonna attempt to raid the DAT network here, and we can talk Christmas. If it's not going through, let me know. Otherwise, I think Jared, you do have mod capability if you want to assist in throwing us over to the DAT network.
It's all good.
Perfect. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you on our next show. Watch our socials, and we'll keep announcing when we're playing next. See ya
In December.
in December. Bye bye. Bye bye now.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Thanksgiving.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.